Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, we are 49 hours away. I know you guys missed my countdown, so
you have way too much free time on your hands.
Math. It's all math. I'm using fingers and toes. Happy Friday, everybody. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I know you guys missed the countdowns. I had to bring it back, man. I don't think we did one last week, but
no, we
Derek
didn't.
Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis hanging with you. Excited for another Sports Take to close out the week strong. We got a great show in store for you today, by the way. Demetrius Harvey, who is the Jags beat writer for the Florida Times-Union, is going to be joining us in a couple of minutes. Chris Long, who was the honorary captain. How cool is that for the game this weekend between the Eagles and the Jags, and his former coach, Doug Peterson, who those two were a great team in helping the Eagles win the Super Bowl 52. So look, guys, we always like to start on a kind of fun, lighter, positive note. And by the way, we see everybody in the chat section, and thanks for hanging out with us, everybody on the stream and everybody listening. We appreciate you. But you know, it was a scary moment. I know the three of us, because we text all the time back and forth when we're watching games and whatnot. But we're watching the game last night between the Dolphins and the Bengals, and there's a really scary moment in the second quarter with Tua Tagovailoa when he goes down with an injury, and it was a scary scene. Frankly, it was tough to keep watching it with the replays and whatnot. Now, the good news is he was carted off. He was taken to a local hospital in Cincinnati, but he has all feelings in his extremities. In fact, felt well enough to fly back with the team to Miami after the game, which is really important. Good for him. But here's what I'm trying to figure out, guys, just out of the chute, because we talked about this repeatedly all week. When he goes down last week and he gets up and he looks woozy and wobbly and everything else, and they wanted to tell you left and right that this was a back injury. It didn't look like a back injury. And I don't claim to be a doctor, but it looked like a lot more than that. I don't know how that guy was out on the field 4 days later. For the life of me, we talk about safety all the time. I can't figure this one out.
I don't claim to be a doctor, but I play one on TV. Let's put it like that. I've covered this game over 4 decades. I've seen too many of those instances when players get up and wobble like that. The fact that both Tua and the Dolphins organization are sticking to the gun saying it was his back locking up on. I've had my back locked up on me. I know people that have had their back locked up on me. You don't move like that when your back locks up on you. Not. And then his teammates had to hold him up and help him walk him off the field. Now, because the league doesn't trust the individual team doctors, they give you independent doctors to do these concussion protocols. And they still cleared this man to play a game 4 days later. And he goes out there, as soon as he went down, and his hand went like this and locked up in his fingers. I said, that's a concussion. Plain and simple.
Yep, he lost control of that. That's and it's a shame because, like it or not, guys, you can't really tell a brain injury. Like, people don't understand concussion. When you're concussed, that means you have swelling in your brain. That means, you bruised your brain. I mean, that
means your brain moved, Barrett.
Yeah, exactly. So you're essentially either bruising your brain or shaking it up. Yes. And that's what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I'm not a doctor, but I've felt what it's feel like. I've I had during my NFL career, in my paperwork, it says I only had like 6 or 8, concussions. But I know for a fact I was concussed a lot of times, even during practice. You know what I'm saying? But as a football player, understanding, NFL stands for not for long, and you're trying not to have somebody else come and take your place. You want to keep going. You want to keep fighting it through. Just the man mentality you want to keep fighting through. And understand, Tonga, man. I mean, Tua has to understand also. That guy that's behind him is pretty good. Also, he came in and almost engineered a comeback. So I understand why he doesn't want to be relieved from that position, man. But your health means more than just playing this game.
How about your long-term life expectancy?
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
I understand these guys are gladiators, and a lot of players will lie to coaches. I'm all right, coach. Put me back in. But you got to be smarter than that. You have to be a lot smarter than that, man. I mean, seriously. That shot he took last night, if he's back in less than 3 or 4 weeks, something's wrong. I don't care how he feels. I'm not letting him back on the field. That's 2 now in the span of 4 days.
Yes.
I don't care how he feels. 3 to 4 weeks minimum before he steps back on that football field.
There's no way he can come back right now.
Agreed.
There's no way.
Agreed.
Like I said, I've had that done to me. And you never really get away from the after effects of it. Like I have all my windows of my car tinted because, sometimes, the sun affects my head, what I'm saying? It affects my, my sight and it gives me headaches and everything else. So this is something that, I know the NFL is taking it seriously, but I see 3 people that got to account for this, this wrong that was done to him.
Yeah.
I see the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I see the independent doctors.
Yeah.
And I also see the NFL for allowing it to happen.
There are so many players out there like an Earl Campbell. Earl Campbell took so many head trauma shots. He can't even go outside without sunglasses on because he gets headaches if he looks directly into his sun. Jim McMahon went through that for a while. There's multitudes of players that can't go outside unless they have some kind of shade darkening apparatus on their faces or in their cars, as Barrett alluded to, because the sun affects them and causes them sometimes severe migraine headaches.
Yep.
And now you see that's a significant reason why you're starting to see more and more players too also retire at a younger age for a quality of life, man.
Yep.
It's no joke nowadays. And for that to happen on a national stage when already millions of people suspected they were lying, the Dolphins and Tua were lying on Sunday to begin with, man, I'm just glad that kid has all his motions in his extremities.
Yeah.
You got to protect the players from themselves more times.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Protect us from who we want to be.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that for Barrett for a long time, by the way.
I know, man. And I joke about it. Sometimes I joke about CT, what I'm saying? Right. So sometimes I feel as though I got to make light of it on myself. Not for anybody else, but on myself.
Yeah, it helps you cope. Yeah. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, well said. All right, we'll dip back into this, guys, in the NFL segment in a little bit. But right now, very excited to talk to our next guest. First time we've had him on the show and does an excellent job covering the Jags for the Florida Times Union. Check him out, Jacksonville.com as well, and on Twitter also. It's Demetrius Harvey. Demetrius, welcome to the show, man. How you make it out?
I'm doing all right. How about you guys?
Demetrius, good.
Good.
Let's dip into the Eagles and the Jags in a second, but I know you were listening to the conversation, and obviously, you had your eyes on the game last night as well. Just what are your thoughts on the way that thing played out?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, first of all, it was scary to see, anytime a player gets hurt like that and they sort of go into that fencing pose and you immediately know it's a concussion and you're just hoping that he's going to be able to feel everything in his body. We've seen guys like Ryan Shazier go out there and now, he's having trouble walking and things of that nature. So just to see that, it was terrible. And I think I agree with you guys. I don't know if he got concussed 4 days ago or 5 days ago now, but it definitely seemed like something else more than just a back was hurt with him during that game. And to go out there and play just 4 days later, it's just wild to me.
Yeah, feels like a little malpractice there for sure. All right, Demetrius, so let's dip into this game. I guess let's start here, man. I mean, you've been around this since Doug got there. What a difference a year makes, to say the least. So give us a little insight. I mean, we know Doug from his time here, but you guys were coming off an epic train wreck, the previous season. How are things different and how much different are they right now?
Yeah, that's probably putting it lightly. Urban was just not the right coach last year, obviously, for a number of reasons. It was just very disorganized. It wasn't, put together. The toxic work environment that many players have already come out and talked about. But to flip it over to Doug, he's just clearly you can tell that he's a real NFL coach, if that makes sense. Last year it just didn't
Right.
feel it just didn't feel like it. I'll be honest.
That's a great way to put it.
That's in a nutshell, not an NFL.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
really.
think a college coach. I think
Yeah.
he's done coaching. Period.
Yeah.
No, he won't.
No,
He'll
you're
be
right.
hired coaching next year somewhere because they don't care. But anyway, that's a different.
Well, God bless them. But but Doug has obviously brought in his mentality, very organized, very timely. One of the things I do know is that the schedule is actually a real schedule. Last year there were times that Urban would leave early or do this and that, change the schedule around. Players were very disorganized. This year it's very organized. It's clearly helped them in terms of improving how they feel about winning football games. Last year it didn't seem like that was what the news was. It was more of where do they go from here? They're losing, but why? Now it's about, hey, how can they win a game? And I think that sort of shifted the mentality of the entire room and the entire coaching staff and players and all of that. So thus far, Doug's done a great job. Obviously there's a lot of football to be played, especially this game on Sunday, but thus far it's been great.
Demetrius.
One second. I'm sorry. My fault, bro. Can you explain what you mean? He would leave early.
I knew Barrett was going to let that one go.
I don't understand. What are you saying? I don't understand.
Yeah. Actually, before Urban was fired, he left the facility early. Didn't tell anybody. Just completely left. I think it was like around 5 something. He left it up to the rest of the staff to sort of conduct the meetings. I mean,
oh my God.
So I don't know how many times that happened last year, but I can imagine if it that's the one that got out. I'm sure there's plenty more that happened. And so yeah, it was just a bizarre circumstance.
He was straight up had every intention of just stealing money for a year. I mean, that's all it was. He was a gangster. He just came in there with a freaking mask on and stole money. Anyway,
I didn't quite understand that. Like you said that to me, I was like confused for a minute. I'll just leave. I'm the head coach. I'm just all right.
Yeah, we thought Steve Spurrier was bad playing golf every once in a while. This guy was just like, yeah, I'm out. You guys figure it out.
Yeah, he stayed after in Cincinnati and didn't go back on the team plane. So
that right there had me.
Hey, he had to get his freak on, man.
He wasn't lonely. He had some companionship. Yeah, at least.
Hey, Demetrius, I got to ask you this. The MO between Doug Peterson and Jacksonville compared to Philadelphia is like almost identical. He took a team that was at death's doorstep and turned it around in a hurry here, to the point where he shocked the world and won a Super Bowl in the second year. Now, there's still a long journey for Jacksonville to go this season. But can you pinpoint, because I thought Jacksonville was still about a year away before they would be a serious contender, especially in a very mediocre division. What do you pinpoint as the most definitive reason as to why it's happening quicker than a lot of people anticipated this season for that team?
Yeah, I think from what we've seen over the first 3 games of the season, you can tell that the players are bought in. I think that's sort of half the battle. This team is just really young. They obviously haven't won a lot in the last couple of years. They've only won 4 games in the 2 years combined.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't really know what winning looked like. But with speaking with the players in the locker room and just seeing how the new players that they brought in have sort of developed that culture around them, I think that's sort of why it's sort of escalated or accelerated maybe the path to success so far. I think that the guys are able to, see, we can win a game and we can be good. We are a good team, rather than before where they're kind of just like, oh, we're a bad team, so of course we lost. I think that's the biggest thing right now. Now, obviously, things can change. They could go on to lose the rest of the season, but from what we've seen, they beat a really good Chargers team last week. They beat a Colts team that just beat the Chiefs. So, it's just one of those things where you can tell that this is a little bit different. I think that's part of what Doug has brought in. He's made a team that actually believes in themselves and believes in winning, and I think that's why we're seeing what we see.
Have you heard anything from the team as far as all right, coach, you're going to play for your old team. We're going to win one for the Gipper. I mean, have they said anything like that, or is that in the media narrative up there?
Yeah, well, not necessarily a lot of players are talking about that, but we asked Trevor about it yesterday, and he mentioned, hey, we know how important this game will be for coach, even if he's not going to say it. Obviously Doug is downplaying it a pretty good deal, but they know how important this is. It's a team that he brought to the Super Bowl, got them their first Super Bowl, and then was fired in 2020. Now, whether that was right or wrong, that's up for debate or whatever. But I'm sure he feels a certain type of way in terms of, hey, I want to prove that I can be a successful head coach in the NFL still. He took a year off, to sort of reshape his mind and everything like that. I think that's been a great thing about what Doug has done over the past year. So, you can tell that the players are bought in and they believe in their head coach. So there's no doubt they're going to play as hard as possible for him and obviously for themselves.
Demetrius, one of the things that stands out to me when I look at some of the numbers on the Jags so far is the fact that Trevor Lawrence has only been sacked twice. And I know they made some additions on the offensive line in the offseason. How much of that is that line's much better? And they could be both, or the quarterback's getting the ball out quickly, et cetera. I mean, that could be a big part of this game on Sunday.
I think it's a combination. You have a Doug Peterson offense that relies on getting the ball out of their hands quickly. We saw that with Carson Wentz back in the past. We saw that with Nick Foles, obviously. It's part of, Trevor getting better, Trevor being in this offense. And then also the offensive line is playing that good. Jawan Taylor, I know that, Joey Bosa got hurt early in that game, but before that he was dominating him. And that's, tough to say. Not many players can say that they dominated Joey Bosa, but he really did. And Khalil Mack, the same thing. They didn't really get to Trevor at all last week. The week before with Ngakoue, they didn't get to him at all. I think that there's a combination of bringing in a new guy like Brandon Sheriff, who, if he goes on to play how he can play over the next several years, he could be a Hall of Fame player. He's that type of guard. Bringing in a guy like him, bringing in Luke Fortner as the center. Cam Robinson just got his new deal. He's playing well this year. I think that there's a combination of just the offensive line's playing very well, and then also Trevor getting the ball out of his hands quickly and Doug sort of scheming it up.
Demetrius, when we talk about Trevor, I don't think it can be stated enough that Doug Peterson did an incredible job of putting this umbrella around Trevor in terms of not just Doug being a quarterback whisperer, but the fact that he brought in Press Taylor and Mike McCoy to groom him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's sort of what Doug said as soon as he was hired, and as soon as he hired Mike and Press. Those are guys that he wanted to surround Trevor with, voices that he respected, voices that he trusts. It wasn't just, Press coming along with them because that's his guy. It was more of he trusts him to be able to take Trevor and make him into the quarterback that he can be. He's talked about it too, where last year was basically like a rookie minus season for Trevor. He would have been better off, and I've said this before, staying at Clemson, in my opinion, rather than going. But it's true. It's a situation where Trevor just didn't. He didn't seem to be getting better, and I think we didn't really see that until maybe the last game of the season. So to bring in a guy like Press Taylor, Mike McCoy, who's been a head coach, and then obviously Doug himself. I think that's been great. A singular voice, or as few voices as possible around him, where now he's able to excel and just sort of get back to football.
Wow, Demetrius, first of all, there's a book in that season last year. I think you got to get all over that thing, man. I don't know. I would get on it quick. Someone else may jump on it, but the Jags defense here. They're giving up just 12.7 points per game. They're first against the rush. Against the pass, maybe not so much, 21st, but they look like on that side of the ball, they're really, coming together. And it looks like a lot of young talent, a lot of draft picks that they hit on the defensive side.
Absolutely. It starts with Trayvon Walker, obviously getting picked number 1 overall. I know a lot of people looked at his stats in Georgia, said only, I think, 9 sacks over 3 years or whatever it was, and they didn't see it. But the guy has come in, and he hasn't necessarily dominated in the pass rushing department, but setting the edge, being that defensive end, outside linebacker, he's able to do that. He's able to impact the passer in a variety of ways. I think that bringing in a guy like Devin Lloyd, who's playing incredible this year, he's one of the top linebackers in the league and definitely the top defensive rookie in the league right now. So just having a couple of those guys come in and sort of reestablish their front seven, it's paid them dividends. I think that them bringing in a guy like Foley Fatukasi on the defensive line has helped them in the run department. Devon Hamilton, sort of unheralded, nose guard type player that, when you look at the game, you're not going to really notice him, but then he makes a play and you're like, oh yeah, he's out there, making plays against the run and also against the pass. So I think that they've done a good job of sort of curating this Mike Caldwell defense around the players that he likes. And I think that that's something that, over the course of the season, we'll see exactly how it plays out. But for right now, that front seven is probably one of the better ones in the NFL.
Looking at offensively, saying, how did they see what Christian Kirk was when he was the third receiver? Yeah. Third receiver in Arizona. How did they see that from him? Because he's definitely paying dividends. I didn't think he was worth $70 million, but evidently he is because he's balling right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're not alone. Everybody sort of kind of got on that train where it's like overpaid. But when you look at what he did against the Cardinals, I think that's sort of what they saw, or what he did with the Cardinals. I think that's what he saw last season, where he played a majority of his time in the slot. He was able to be successful. It was his best season. I think that they saw, hey, we can tap into that, play Kirk sort of in the slot in our offense and get going. I think that that's sort of what they've done. They've moved him all around. He'll play out of the backfield. Sometimes he'll play outside. He'll play in the slot. And he's been successful. I think that it's just a credit to Doug Peterson mainly to be able to sort of scheme a guy open, maybe not like we've seen in Jacksonville in the past. And that's not just, Urban, but, Doug Marrone, Gus Bradley, all the way back. So, it's just a situation where they're taking a guy who might not be the best receiver in the league. He's definitely not the tallest guy at all, or the biggest guy, but, he's a guy that gets in there, is a very hard worker, which is something they value. He's going to be one of the last guys off the field, things of that nature. And so I think that they've just been able to tap into that and they're making their investment worth it. They're getting the most out of it.
In the game that we watch and know today, where people just drool over the wide receivers and the edge rushers, I'm still old school, Demetrius. My favorite positions are still running back and linebackers. And when I look at this kid, Devin Lloyd, I've jokingly said he is the AFC version of Micah Parsons. How surprised have you guys been in terms of how quickly he has adapted to the game at this level?
Yeah, it's been a big surprise only because in training camp he didn't really have one. He was out with a hamstring injury all the way up until the Falcons week, and he played a half of football before starting, week 1 against the Commanders. So it was kind of a surprise to see how much or how well he could play just with, barely playing any football over the past couple months. But the last 2 games have proven, this is the guy that they drafted, coming out of Utah. Many thought of him, or at least, from what I saw, many thought of him as a guy who could be a potential top 10 pick, depending on how the cards fell. So when he fell all the way to 27, they obviously wanted to trade up and get him. But you're right. He's a guy who can not only play the off-ball linebacker position, but he can play arm ball too, as an edge rusher, as whatever they want him to be, just because of he has the length, he has the size, he has the speed to play that. Obviously they haven't used him as a pass rusher as much as maybe he did at Utah so far, but they're going to do that. And I think that, honestly, the sky's the limit.
Hey, Dimitri, I'm curious. You see the Eagles from afar. We see them all the time. What your take is on just what they are, how good they are. What this is going to look like Sunday against Jacksonville.
Yeah, this is going to be the Jaguars' biggest test of the season. We thought last week was their next biggest test, but the Chargers were kind of hurt and all that. So, but this week against the Eagles, they're relatively healthy. They have guys on the outside, Devontae Smith, obviously, with AJ Brown. That's going to test the Jaguar secondary, which to me is probably one of the weaker links, I guess you can say, of the defense, just because of the rest of the players have proven to be so good, especially in the front seven. But yeah, that's going to be a major test. And then obviously we talked about it a little bit before, but the offensive line against the Eagles defensive line, who, this defensive line is probably one of the more seasoned, obviously, with Fletcher Cox and all those guys, and Jordan Davis as a rookie even, but still he's probably one of the biggest humans I've ever seen. So just going up against this Jaguars offensive line, Jaguars going up against that defensive line, I think that's going to be such a big test for this team. And I think, Doug sort of said it earlier that this is probably the best team that they're going to have played. I know it's only week 4, but it's true.
I hear you talking a lot of you hearing stuff, and and that's what they value. Evidently, you guys down there, and as far as the media, have bought into what Doug is saying. Also, would that be an accurate assessment?
Yeah, honestly, we have. And I think it takes a while for us within the media to buy in, especially after going through last year, which we were just like,
we killed him when he first got to us. We killed him. Him when we first got to him.
They wanted him fired after the first year.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, I guess it's a little different. Maybe it's just it's refreshing to hear a guy, stand up there and not just, he actually knows the players' names. I know it's a really low bar, but to contrast it to last year, it's really easy for us to buy in to a guy who just looks like he knows what he's doing. And then when they win and it all kind of comes together, what he says actually reflects what's happening on the field. It's pretty easy to buy into it. I think that's sort of what we've thought of as a media. I don't speak for everybody, obviously, but I think that for the most part, we're all bought in, and at least for right now, in terms of at least this is heading in the right direction. Whether they get to the playoffs or not this year, I don't think anybody said that.
Demetrius, how about injuries? Who's banged up for the Jags?
Yeah, Shaq Griffin, he missed last week's game with a hip injury. He was limited a couple days this week. We'll see today if he's going to go. Doug seemed sort of optimistic, but as you guys know, he's very shy, I guess, about talking about injuries. He doesn't really care to say anything.
He learned from Andy. He learned from Andy Reid. Yep.
Exactly. So, Zay Jones is another guy who got banged up yesterday in practice, his ankle. It was more precautionary from what they said, and then we'll see today. So, they could be without Shaq Griffin and Zay Jones or either way. But, this, speaking of injuries, I kind of wanted to say the last couple of weeks before Shaq missed the game, they hadn't had anybody on the injury report. And I've never seen that. I know you guys have been covering the NFL a lot longer than me, but just not having injuries after week 1, just completely empty sheet. It was surprising. So they've been pretty good in that department.
The Mike Caldwell that I knew in Philadelphia was very quiet, low key, didn't say a whole lot unless he had to. The fact that and we understand he's a Todd Bowles disciple. The fact that he has emerged as one of the top defensive coordinators in this game, from my perspective, I'm shocked. Not that I didn't think he could do it, but that he grasped it the way he did. How is he perceived down there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exactly what you said. He's not a rah guy. He's quiet. Doesn't say a whole lot, but the performance that you see on the field kind of show like he doesn't really have to say much at all. They've been able to. I think the one thing he's done very well is putting his players in positions to succeed, especially on the defensive line. They have a guy, Roy Robertson Harris, who's incredibly long, and last year they sort of didn't seem like they knew exactly how to use him. But this year it seems like they know the rotation, they know when he should and shouldn't be in and out of the game. Just the little things. I think that having a guy also who's played in the NFL at that coordinator position, played linebacker, especially with a young guy like Devin Lloyd on the team, I think that sort of helped them develop him a little bit faster. So I think he's done a great job. Obviously they have still some time to go up against some of the top talents in the league, but so far so good.
What do you guys see? What are you guys seeing? Walker as Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen. They're saying they're linebackers, but would you say they're more so, especially against 11 personnel, one running back, one tight end, and the rest receivers, kind of a nickel front? Those guys are more so defensive ends. Am I wrong for thinking that?
Kind of, but not really. I get what you're saying. I think that they're mostly linebackers in the sense of they'll rush. Sometimes they'll even drop back. They'll stand up in a 2-point stance. They'll do all those things. But yeah, on third downs, they'll have them playing down. They'll have guys like DeJuan Smoot and Arden Key in there as well. Basically, just have 4 defensive ends rushing. So they'll mix it up. I think that one thing about Mike Caldwell's defense that we were talking about, it's very multiple. He's going to have guys standing up sometimes. He's going to have guys down in the 3-point stance sometimes. They'll have guys stunting. They have game. So like there's just a bunch.
They do that a lot. Yeah, they do that a lot.
It's just a bunch of different things. So, but yeah, Trayvon Walker, he's done an excellent job in my opinion, at least in terms of setting the edge, playing that position well. And even last week, he had a pass breakup, defending a fullback out of the backfield. So he's a very versatile guy at 270. You don't really expect that, but he's able to do it.
Dimitri, last one from me. Weather, has that played any kind of role this week? Have you guys been okay down there? Like, how have they handled practice? Will there be any issues traveling here?
Good question.
Yeah, we've in Jacksonville, it wasn't too bad. I think the weather's pretty much passed now. There's some light flickering, power off in some areas, but mostly by the beaches. Luckily, the storm kind of like went a little bit away, but they changed up practice a bit yesterday. That was the worst day of the storm. They sped it up pretty much. They got the players in, did all the meetings. It was like a half day sort of crunch into one. And so there was no media availability, and then today there was some virtual stuff, but they practiced this week. It was kind of uncertain at first whether they would or wouldn't, but it seems like everything's on schedule. They're going to fly out Saturday, and that's sort of where we're at.
Hey, Demetrius, tell Dougie P and Mike Caldwell, Derek Gunn said hello, would you? Because they're great people, man. Just good.
That's some selfish stuff, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
Make it about Derek.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is. You know why? Because I've earned that right. I made those kind of yes. Yes.
Bro, I played against him. I'm on the field against him for years. I go back years. I was in Green Bay, bro.
Do you have Doug Peterson's phone number?
Hey.
Do you have Mike Caldwell's phone number? I rest my case.
Wow. Now you have to back us up over Barrett now? What is going on here?
I don't care if you played, man. I'm just a relationship.
Aren't you
see
glad
what goes
down
on
there,
here,
bro?
Demetrius?
You see what I'm saying?
Demetrius, this is every day.
Bro.
This is every day with us, Demetrius. He's sitting here right now going, what did I get myself?
Thank God.
Doug got the hell out of here because of this right here.
Yeah, I'm not near these knuckleheads.
That's why he got out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's why he got out of here, because of this right here. You heard about the media up here. That's what it is.
Demetrius, don't listen to them. They're both on medication. Don't listen to either one of them.
Not enough, apparently. Demetrius, listen, man, keep up the good work covering the Jags, and you can follow Demetrius at Demetrius82 on Twitter. You do a great job, man. Yeah. Thanks for a couple minutes.
Thank you, man.
Great speaking.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys.
Safe travels to you.
Take care. Good insight there, man. That was I love, not that he's an enemy. I mean, I love going behind enemy lines and just kind of getting a vibe for what's going on down there. Yeah, this could be really, we'll get into the game in a second, guys, but it could be an interesting sort of like battle of the running game if it's really sloppy track.
Right, and that bode well for us. But I am so glad that that we see a different perspective on how we're viewing Jacksonville. Like he gave all right, they're hoping to win. It seemed like everybody in our region like, oh, they might come in and beat us. That's not the sense that I get from Jacksonville. I mean, from watching film, I see they're a very talented team. Yes, they are. They have some players in position, but they're just in position right now. They're not following through in every aspect of the game.
Well, I think what we're doing too, Barrett, a little bit is, and Demetrius did a great job laying it out. We're going from, oh my God, train wreck disaster to functional football team. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to take anything away. Like I do think Doug's turned them into a solid team, man, for sure. But it's such an extreme from what it was last year to what it is this year that maybe people are taking it a step too far, perhaps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes, that right there. See, that's why you credit.
Yeah, but not only that, less than 2 weeks ago, we had 6 teams that were still undefeated in the NFL. Now we're down to 1. Yeah. And I think the constant we've seen throughout the course of this season is expect the unexpected. Yeah, it's been that way across the league the first 3 weeks of the season.
I agree.
What goes up must come down.
Yeah, on paper, the Eagles have more talent, more depth than this Jacksonville team. Mm-hmm. But Jacksonville's frontline talent on their team is not only young, but they're very good. And they made some strategic moves in terms of bringing free agents like Brandon Scherf, Christian Kirk. So they've turned it around a whole year sooner than a lot of people ever anticipated.
Yeah, God, I'm sorry, Doug.
Even though it's a home game for the Eagles, we've said all week long, this Jacksonville team is too young to understand they should be afraid or show utter respect to a team that's more veteran laden. They're going to come in here and battle this team.
You're right. I wasn't trying to take anything away from them.
I know you weren't. I know.
Yeah, because I do respect them. And the other part that's just such an X factor is what's the emotional pitch going to be on Jacksonville's side?
Absolutely.
Like the Eagles side, it's just sort of, hey, thanks, Doug, before the game. There's the video, right?
Yeah.
But with Doug, it's like, I won a Super Bowl and I was out the door, 3 years later, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's a lot, man. And I know, he may not have even hit them with that. That might be Saturday night speech. You know what I mean?
You don't think this Jacksonville team is feeling itself right now after what they've done the last 2 games, beating the Colts?
Yeah.
And even though the Chargers were a depleted team, they still beat a very good, explosive Chargers team.
Yeah.
They held both teams at 10 points. You don't think those young kids are looking around the locker room, hey, we can win some ball games here? As Demetrius said, they won 4 games over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've already won half the amount of games in 3 weeks as they won over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You don't think this team is going to come in here and thinking we could be the team that takes down the last undefeated team in the NFL?
They're thinking that way for sure.
And like you just said, if it turns into a running game, it's supposed to rain this tonight, tomorrow, Sunday.
Right.
Jacksonville got a pretty good running attack back there also.
Yeah, Robinson and ETN are nothing to sneeze at. Yeah,
and I'm still not too comfortable with this Eagles run defense. I'm gonna be straight up.
All right, let's do this. Let's jump into the matchups with the game when we get back. Let's dig into that. We'll do the NFL stuff coming up at 1:00. Hey, Chris Long is going to be joining us in the 2:00 hour as well. So you don't want to go anywhere. This is the place to be on this Friday, getting you set for the Eagles and the Jaguars. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. All right, knowing who to trust with your finances, right? You work way too hard to put your finances in the wrong hands. I got the right hands for you, and that's Jim Murray. He's got hands like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. He is going to do you right, whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review. If you have a small business, you need help with your employee benefits, that's another resource that Jim can assist you with. I know he's helped me with everything from IRAs to 401k rollovers, and I couldn't be happier. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. You can email him as well, Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia Dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, Birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown's 5-day used car super sale. Jeff puts an end to high prices now. 5 days of the best car, truck, and SUV deals ever. Over 1,000 vehicles, every make and model. Stop overpaying. See Jeff today and get a quality car, truck, or SUV now. The 5-day used car super sale. Experience how easy it is to deal at Jeff's. Nobody treats you better. Nobody gives you more. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. GoJeffAuto.com.
What's up, everybody? Hanging with you on this Friday. Hope you're doing well out there. Hope you have a great weekend ahead of you. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, D Gunn, B Brooks, R Ellis, and we're talking some football here. So a couple updates from Eagles practice. They're practicing at the link today, guys. I don't know, Barrett, you may be able to speak to this. Is that commonplace? They do that on a Friday, but they are practicing at the link. No Boston Scott, and looks like he's going to be out for the game with sore ribs. AJ Brown back. There was word that he was second child was imminent. I don't know. We'll probably get word if they had the child. But anyway, that AJ's back at practice, but no Boston Scott.
That's something. We did that on sometime, but we did it for big games. So it might give you a sense of how big this game is for this Eagles team. We would do that when we understood that, the conditions might not be as good also. That might be a reasoning also. Just get used
maybe
to
because
that.
Barrett, you would do it tomorrow. You would normally do it tomorrow, but tomorrow's going to be nasty, and you do it today.
Yeah. You have a walkthrough in the stadium.
Yeah.
Just for the conditions. So I think that might be the case. Wow. I mean, this is a big game, man. It's a big game, man. And they're conducting themselves as so. Sometimes we did walk through in the stadium, on the day before. So that might be the case. There might be Nash tomorrow. They're going through and practicing on this inside the stadium today, as opposed to tomorrow when they have the walkthroughs there.
Okay.
So that's probably what they're doing. This just shows the magnitude of what they're thinking as an organization. So you're not going to get their B game. You're going to get their A game coming out. So rest assured of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would concur. So let's dig into this thing, because the Eagles are the lone undefeated team left now after the Dolphins go down last night. Are they an elite team?
The Eagles right now, I would have to say,
absolutely.
They're definitely in the conversation. They're definitely a team that they're on top right now. Everybody's looking at them. They're the new kids on the block. So they're going to get everybody's best from this point forward. And you want that, really. You want that. You want that sense of all right, we're here, we've arrived, and it's time for us to, keep carving out our path and what we are on this team. So, I mean, this is great for them. This is definitely great for them. Derek, what do you think?
I put them at the elite category right now through 3 weeks, mainly because they're the last undefeated team standing. The talent has really risen to the occasion over the last 2 games. Jalen Hurts has become the talk of the league in a positive light. All off season, it was more negative, like question marks. Can he do this? Can he do that? And we were part of that, and rightfully so, because we didn't know. But because he's right now one of the top 3 passers in the game in terms of yards and things like that, hasn't made many mistakes. Absolutely, I put the elite moniker attached to the Eagles' name right now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's look at it from this standpoint. If it's a running game tomorrow, or Sunday, excuse me, if it's a nasty weather, see, I think that's a bit of a misnomer. Like, I don't think teams all of a sudden just abandon the pass. But if it is a heavy running game, Jacksonville enters this game 10th in the league in rushing. They, in terms of what they do offensively, 123.3. Flip side of that, they're first against the run. They're only giving up 55 yards per game so far this season. Eagles come in, let's see, they're 7th in rushing in the NFL at 150 per game. All right. So they're a little bit ahead of Jacksonville on that list. So the Eagles, like from an offensive standpoint, we know they were the best rushing team last year. This year against the run, Eagles numbers are not great. They're okay. They're giving up 113.3, which is kind of middle of the pack. Now, some of that was skewed by that Detroit game. They've been much better the last 2 games than they were in that first game. So maybe some of that washes out. I don't know. I mean, you have Miles Sanders who you feel good about. It's a bummer. No Boston Scott here, but you'll see a little bit more Kenneth Gainwell and Trey Sermon, I would assume, would be activated. He's going to be up from the practice squad. And then the flip side of that is you have Robinson and ETN running the ball for the Jags.
Well, I think we not forget, but we talk about the Eagles' rushing attack, and a lot of it is predicated by the quarterback running the football.
True.
Whereas you look at the Jacksonville team, it's a 1-2 running back punch. And it's nothing wrong with having a dual threat quarterback. That's what the league has shifted to, more dual threat type quarterbacks. You even look at the quarterbacks like a Josh Allen, a Trevor Lawrence. They'll step up and run in a minute. Daniel Jones, they'll take off and run in a minute. So the Eagles are going to need that ground attack. They have to make amends. I mean, last year last week they were held to 72 yards rushing. Now Washington's defense overall is not that great, but that interior line was pretty stout against the Eagles' run because of 2 guys. Now you're talking about a defensive front that is decent across the board. Young, still finding its way, but they can hold up its own against the run. So I think it's going to be a great test for both teams in terms of trying to establish the run. The Eagles have been a very balanced team through 3 games. They've been in their 30s basically both games in terms of running and passing the football. So I don't know if that's going to happen. We don't know how much rain we're supposed to get Saturday and Sunday. It's supposed to rain all the way through Monday. To what degree, we don't know. Depends on how this thing shifts.
Right.
I do think that 12th man, which is the weather in this case, if it rains as much as they're talking about, could have a significant impact on who establishes the line of scrimmage, controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football.
You're absolutely right, man. If I say what team has the advantage, I'm going to say the Eagles. I think they have the advantage because they have the dual threat, of understanding that, they can always look to Jalen as that extra threat. You have to defend all 11 players as opposed to just defending 3. He's shown the capacity to go out there and throw the ball, well. So, that's something that the defense has to go out there and make sure they stop. And I'm gonna say this: when it rains like that, when the weather's bad, when the footing isn't good, it's actually an offensive line's advantage because when the defense can't get off the ball like that, their defense is predicated on movement and beating you to a spot and being aggressive and getting up the field. When you don't have the traction to do that, now you're playing into the offensive line's hands. And when you got, 380 on one side, 380 at tackle, 360, 350 at guard. On the right side, once you get that inertia going, you know what I'm saying? It's law of gravity takes over. Now, big guys will eat up little guys then. Big guys beat up little guys then. And it's a smaller defensive line than you usually have. So I think I know that this will be a decided advantage for the Eagles. And plus, they love to run the ball. I think the Eagles will have the not slight, but I think it'll be a commanding advantage on them running the ball. This will be a game where I wish we had Boston Scott because it'd be perfect. It would be perfect for him, picking him up and putting him down. This will be
low center of gravity.
Slashing. Oh man, this would be great for him. We got to move on. This is where you make your money. Miles Sanders. This is where you take that next step at being one of the elite. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
me too. Look, circle back real quick. AJ did have a son, AJ Brown. So congrats to AJ.
Definitely.
His second child. Yeah. But he's good to go. No restrictions today. He's ready to rock and roll as far as Sunday goes. But all right, look, here's the question I have for you. What concerns you about this Eagles team right now?
Special teams.
Okay.
Special teams. I need more of the return game. I need this to be a weapon. It's not a weapon now. 2/3 of this team is balling. that 1/3, man, that could be the difference between us winning and losing games because we can't flip the field. We can't get any advantage from the special teams. We're not pinning anybody back. We're not advancing the ball up, returning kicks to get a decided advantage on field position for the offense. The only thing we can do is kick field goals, and we had one blocked 2 weeks ago. So, special teams, we got to get it together. They've got to become a weapon. Coach Phipp had that defense, that special teams rolling. Donnie Longball pinning guys. That's when football was great with the special teams.
Right.
It's a decided disadvantage for this Eagles team right now. A decided advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. With the excluding Elliott, everything else, there's nothing else you feel real confident about in any aspect of it.
Right.
Look, ultimately, is that a good problem to have? Yeah, for sure. It's a good problem that's where your focus is, but it's real. And this is where it gets you is tight games. Games where the Eagles are in control, not so much. This could be a weird kind of game. And ball security could be big on those punts.
It could be huge. The disadvantage for us. Mm-hmm. We have to make sure we get something in a return game, even kickoffs. I'm sorry, but man, our kickoff game absolutely is atrocious. We don't kick off the ball, and when you have bad weather like this, they're gonna make you return the football. Yep. They're gonna make our kickoff return.
Yeah, they're gonna punch it short, the 10-yard line, one of those deals.
And because they know we can't do it.
I don't blame them.
Yep.
So now it's becoming a negative. Say what you want to say at this point. Quez is just not a kickoff returner. Yeah. He hadn't shown me anything.
Yeah, fast doesn't mean you can return a kick.
Right. And are you gonna bring up Covey?
You can only do it
this time.
Yeah,
he's got to stay up.
Right. You can't keep doing it. Yeah.
Do we have a spot for him?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know who it is. Do you trust putting back there Devontae Smith being a starting punt return?
I don't like that
because they don't block.
I don't like it.
They don't block.
No, I don't like it. I think it's a situation. It's like a break glass in case of emergency, like they used to do with Deshaun Jackson. If you're down, you're down 10 in the third. You want to throw him back there, okay. But I don't need to start the game with him returning punts personally.
Absolutely.
I don't like Quez back there. If teams MO is going to start being, kick it shorter to make them run it back, I don't like Quez taking unnecessary shots. He's not that big of build, number one. And you got guys flying down the field. Your kickoff team doesn't block that well. Kickoff team is blocking as almost bad as your punt team. You imagine that dude taking unnecessary shots?
No, thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Ankle, knee, anything, especially on a slippery track.
Mm-hmm.
Anything and everything could happen. I don't like him back there to begin with, fielding kickoffs on a dry surface, let alone a potential wet surface.
That could be some bad football going on, man. So
it's a bit of a concern. All right, next question: is this the best team they played? Detroit, Minnesota, Washington. Keep in mind, this Jags team lost to that Washington team the Eagles handled last week. Is this the best team they played so far?
I'm saying no.
You think Minnesota is?
No, I think Detroit is.
Okay. Okay.
I still think Detroit's the better of all the three teams we played. They brought more to their defense spanked us.
Certainly the closest game. That's a 38-35 game.
Yes. They're the best team we played thus far. Are they better than the Jaguars? I'm going to say yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say yes. I running back, I like their running back better. I like both of their running backs better. I like their offensive line better. I actually like their defensive line better also. I like their secondary better. To me, they're a better team, even on paper, than Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? I just see it that way. Although they're turning the corner, but they haven't turned the corner yet. So that's why I'm saying I think Detroit's the best team we've played thus far this season.
How about you, Dirk?
I would agree with Barrett, but I would also throw in the caveat only because Jacksonville is such a young team still trying to find its way. Outside of Aiden Hutchinson with Detroit had a lot of veteran players on that team that had been together for a while. Their coach is in his second year. You got a new mindset down in Jacksonville, a proven winner in Doug Peterson. but he had to assemble this thing. And the draft picks they've had through the years, as we talked about with Demetrius, are starting to pay off. They're still a young team. They believe in themselves now, but they haven't had that metal tested at this point. They played a Colts team that was 0-2 when they played them. They played a beat-up Chargers team. Well, they lost Bosa during the game. Herbert's playing with the busted rib cartilage. So I would say in terms of just overall physicality, ebbs and flows of a game, that Detroit game and that Detroit team was their best competition. Now, granted, both teams coming out of the gate, first game of the season, everything's not perfect. You're not completely in sync, especially an Eagles team that did nothing in the preseason in terms of the frontline players playing in exhibition games. It took them a little while to get their thing going. So I'll say Detroit is ahead of Jacksonville at this point.
Yeah, I think I would say that right now for sure. And to be determined as we go along here with Jacksonville. I think there's a little bit. It is strange to me, and I know, hey, like any given week, there's no doubt in that league, but I'm not sure after what I saw from Washington last week, how the Jags lost to that team, how they didn't wreak havoc with Wentz. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Look, maybe I'm not giving the Eagles enough credit too, which I think we tend to always look for reasons why it's not the Eagles. Maybe the Eagles played that well.
And that's where I am right now. Right, yeah. That's where I am right now. I mean, people thought I had three heads when I said it didn't matter who the Eagles were going to play heading into that Minnesota game. I said it didn't matter who the Eagles are playing. They know what they left on the field. They know the way they felt coming off that field, and I knew they were going to play an extraordinary game going into that game against Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And that's just because I know, that coaching staff. I was a line coach, pissed that they played the way they played. Well, I'm telling you, he's pissed because they didn't run the ball like they were supposed to run the ball this last game against Washington. So you're going to get a different effort out of them going into this game.
I think, the Hurts thing is such an X factor and possibly even more so with this bad weather because he can kill you with his arm and his wheels. Like Trevor Lawrence is athletic and will keep plays alive in the pocket and will climb the pocket, but he doesn't have that ability to just carve you up the way that Hurts does with his legs. Right. The Jags haven't seen this, with what he's able to do. That's the part that's going to be fascinating. And to counter it, Doug's got that institutional knowledge of Jalen too.
Exactly.
So how does that little, tete-a-tete work?
Not only that, but if Mike Caldwell is a true disciple of Todd Bowles, I guarantee you he's already talked to Todd Bowles about getting information on how to defend Jalen.
Great point.
Mike Caldwell, I can't say it enough, has risen up the ranks rapidly in terms of being recognized as a quality defensive coordinator. But I don't know if he'll ever be a head coach because of his demeanor. He's so quiet, Mm-hmm. Most coaches, not yellers, but, they're more verbose, let's say.
Yeah.
And Mike Caldwell isn't that kind of guy. Mike Caldwell likes being in the role he's in, doesn't have to be the guy out front answering all the questions. But as we've heard talking to people this week, the wheels are always spinning. They've looked at that tape from Tampa Bay. Now, obviously, they didn't have A.J. Brown in the equation last year. They've studied it. Caldwell has studied that tape thoroughly of what Tampa Bay did to them in the playoff game. They've studied what Washington's interior did in terms of taking away the running game from this Eagles team. It's going to be interesting. Interesting. I think if I'm putting money on the line, yes, I'm taking the Eagles. They're at home. They're the last undefeated team standing. No question about it. They have the better overall talent on both sides of the football. I just think it's going to be an interesting chess match on Sunday.
Yeah, I do too. I wonder, like I wondered last week, the emotional pitch for Wentz. Does Doug have these guys firing crazy early? And if you're able to just kind of withstand that, what happens after that? Is there a little bit of a pin hit in the balloon for them?
Yeah, exactly.
Because emotions work both ways, right? You can make it in your advantage or it can hurt you.
I mean, they weather the storm and take their first, boom, 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 boom. Do they have enough towards the end or towards the middle? Like, oh man, they keep coming in droves because the Eagles, they can keep coming at you. Oh, now they got Hurts. He's came out there. Oh, now they hit AJ. Oh, now they hit Smitty. Oh, they start running the ball again. Oh, now they hit Dallas Goedert. I mean, they come from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So can they weather that storm? Mm-hmm. Is that defense good enough?
If there was ever a game,
yeah.
If there was ever a game the Eagles might need to finish, it might be this one. Last 2 games, they haven't finished in the second half.
Exactly. That's where I was headed next there. Yeah. Exactly right. 5 straight quarters where they haven't scored a touchdown. And I keep pointing this out all weekend just because I don't want to make it sound like it's the whole team, because the defense is doing their job. They're not giving points up, but the offense has not been good enough. But some of that is, human nature, where you let up a little bit, right? And some of that is they are playing the clock. Like Nick's been interesting this week. He said, we probably took our foot off the pedal too much against Minnesota, and we tried too hard. I forget what his explanation was against Washington. He felt like they were going at it a little too aggressively, and it kind of backfired on them. So anyway, they're trying to find a happy medium somewhere. They're aware of the issue. But you're right, Derek. This thing could very well be a field goal game in the fourth quarter. You got to be able to finish.
When you talk about that Washington game, the Eagles will never admit that, but the way that game played itself out, the Eagles could have been sitting on a 13-0 lead in the second half and would have known there's no way Washington is going to be a threat to us for the rest of this game. Yep. Basically, we watched enough games. You can tell body language and ebbs and flows of a game to know whether a team has that wherewithal to attempt to even come back to make it a close game. Washington wasn't that team last Sunday. Mm-hmm. There's no way they were coming back in that game the way Carson was getting tattooed by that defensive front.
Carson lost that game for him. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So
but the other thing is, like, flip side of that is, and we'd be having a much different conversation had they lost that Detroit game. They didn't, right? They didn't. So you play the what if game with a million different scenarios. But that's a game where if there was 5 minutes left in that game, 5 more minutes, additional minutes, I think the Eagles probably lose. So I mean, everything is dependent on that week. That game is its own entity in a lot of ways. So it's hard to know. I mean, the one thing is, as much as we're talking about how maybe the Eagles haven't been great in scoring in second halves, they are destroying teams in the first half. They're averaging, I think it's 321 yards in the first half of games. Teams don't do that for entire games. They are coming out and throwing Mike Tyson, haymakers at teams.
Well, also, what if they don't get out to a great start? They go into the second half, and they've never been behind. Well, they haven't been behind going into the second half. So, do they have the can they keep their? Well, I know they'll keep the composure because look who they have at quarterback. He's one of those guys that you look at Jalen. He's so laid back and cool with the situation. He kind of calms everything down and commands that huddle. I think that this learning process has allowed him to become a better leader. He's done it when they've lost, and he's doing it now when they're winning. So this only helps him out a lot more, and it gives him more of a sense of how to lead this team and what to do and how to do it.
Yeah, look, and all of this is part of the process too. They're still young in a lot of areas. The quarterback's young. The coach is still young. The receiving core is relatively young. So they're
really young.
Yeah, we don't.
Pascal's the old one.
Right. I don't think we always take that into account.
Right.
And I think that's part of this team figuring everything out. They're not a finished product right now, as they will be. All right. So we'll continue with the Eagles discussion, and then we're going to dive into the NFL as well. We'll, like we said, swing it back to the Tua thing. We'll get into some of the bigger matchups around the NFL in week 4. We'll throw our upsets in there. We got our upset game as well. I'll update you on a couple injuries, and we'll see how that affects these games as well. You don't want to go anywhere. By the way, 2:00 hour, Chris Long, honorary captain for this Sunday's game, but of course, big piece of that Super Bowl 52 team and one hell of a career on top of that. So Chris Long coming up in the 2:00 hour. All right, don't go anywhere. Derek, Barrett, Rob, we are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Pro Action Restoration. Before I get into exactly what they can do for you, I just want to tell you about what kind of people they are. They're headed down to Florida right now to help out everything that's gone down with Hurricane Ian. That's what they're all about. And they've done this countless times around the country and around the world. They help people out when they are in their worst kind of moments. So Pro Action is the place that you call or reach out to if your home, your business, or a property that you own may have experienced water, fire, smoke, mold damage, etc. They're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. I've gone through it. It was on a Saturday. They got right over there. They fixed the problem. They cleaned it up. The crew was unbelievable, and the price was right. They are licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. ProAction will work in conjunction with your insurance company. Again, it could be any of the above: water, fire, smoke damage, mold remediation, you name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
The faces you know, the team you trust. The Delaware Valley's leading news program, Action News.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us today. We're in where we're at, where Derek, Barrett, and I in the general vicinity. We're kind of waiting for the storm. We're certainly not going to get anywhere near what the poor folks in Florida had to go through in some other parts of our country. But it's a weird day today. It's kind of overcast, windy, sort of has that feel of like it's coming. We're about to get it pretty
Perfect
soon.
fishing weather. Fishing weather.
Oh, look at you guys, man. Yeah.
Well, see, I was like I said, I started out today. I was outside working on my my truck. I was doing some body work. I had to put down some fiberglass on my the back of my dually pickup truck because it's been cracked. When I bought it, it's cracked and everything else. So I'm putting it together. As I put it together, I'm looking to the sky like, man, it's almost like something evil this way comes.
Yeah, it feels
you know what I'm saying? Like
foreboding.
Yeah,
Foreboding,
you know what I'm saying? Like a precursor.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me get all this done. Let me get as much done as I can. Because this looks like it's not going to be looking too good later on.
Yeah.
It might not be favorable later on.
You better get whatever yard work you need to get in, like in the next 2-3 hours or, whatever it is. By the time it gets dark, it might be over at that point. So, yeah, glad to be hanging out with you guys. So let me update you on a couple things here, guys, NFL-wise. So, no, Jameis Winston's doubtful for the London game. No Michael Thomas, that's for sure. If Jameis can't go, it'll be Andy. They have pretty good backup, Andy Dalton, if that's the situation. No Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions.
Nope.
That's a biggie.
No DeAndre Swift.
No DeAndre Swift. Yeah, Detroit entering that one pretty banged up. McCaffrey right now is questionable with a quad, but Matt Rule, I guess earlier today, said he's very hopeful that he'll be able to play. We know that's been a huge issue for him the last few years, injuries. He's actually playing pretty decent this year, knock on wood for him.
Well, I mean, he's lasted 3 games, so that's a plus.
That's above.
Yeah. Wasn't he done after like 6 last year?
Yeah, and actually, I can't remember what game it was. Maybe was it last week? It was a lot of like tough between the tackle kind of stuff. It wasn't him in space, just looking like a freak, making people miss. But maybe that's why he's got the quad issue. So we'll see if that holds up. I mentioned, I think earlier, the Chiefs and the Bucs games is going to stay in Tampa. The weather is going to be good enough. That's not going to Minnesota. That's good. All right. So let's get back to last night real quick and an issue that I had. I know the 3 of us were watching the game on Prime, and I actually, but aside from the big issue I have is trying to change. I can't change the channel without it taking 15 minutes to get back to the Prime game.
Exactly.
Aside from that,
and it starts out fuzzy before it gets better.
And I get there's some toggling it every once in a while during the game. I don't like.
I hear it in your voice, man. I hear it.
Yeah, I'm slightly
mad all over again. Huh?
A little, not fully annoyed, but I like Al Michaels and Herb Street. I like that they're willing to try different things with camera angle. Like I'm not just dumping on the broadcast, but the one issue I had was, and I don't know if you guys jumped off or stayed on. I watched the halftime. Excuse me, the halftime show that they did. Their set was up right on the field. It's Carissa Thompson, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tony Gonzalez, and Richard Sherman are their crew, their panel crew. Not one of them either has the producers, by the way, I'm going to put them on this as well, has the common sense, or there might be something else going on, which I'll get into, to mention the fact that Tua got hurt on Sunday and appeared to be wobbly on Sunday.
They don't talk about the game that was going on.
They don't discuss that when you're having a discussion about what happened to that guy that night. Right. So either that was beyond just falling asleep at the wheel, or
that was the directive.
The NFL was like, "Hey,
yes, that was a direct directive."
What a joke!
Yeah, you can't tell me that they didn't want to say something about that. And correlate the two together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the announcers did. They did.
Yeah, Herb Street now.
Herb Street did. Yeah, they did. But, they didn't after halftime. They didn't after that, though.
No.
They didn't say it after halftime, and they didn't say it on halftime show. Right. So it was a direct. That's why I say there's 3 parties that are in trouble. Number 1, the Dolphins. Number 2, the independent doctors. And number 3, the NFL. Somebody has to pay for this because there's no way that this kid, he has to be saved from himself. He shouldn't be back for the next 3 or 4 weeks, at least a month. That's the first thing I text you guys.
Yeah,
he shouldn't be back for at least a month.
And they're still, the NFLPA, Barrett, is still investigating Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Still investigating Sunday.
But 4 days later, you got this kid up and he gets slammed down. And I mean, he instantly his body goes into contractions and his hands, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Agreed. I don't get it. I don't get how he was. Now you have to protect him against himself because he's going to tell you I'm fine because he wants to be a gamer. But I don't understand the organization. I don't understand anything. Independent. They're supposed to be independent neurologists on the sideline.
That's what I'm saying. That they've got to be they've got to be held accountable for this also.
Yeah.
Also.
Let's clarify something also because I was looking at social media when a hit occurred. The hit was legal. Tackle was legal.
Illegal about it.
It was not a dirty play. Some people out there, that play was dirty. No, it's not. It was a very legal play.
He finished the play. He finished
it. Yes. The fact that he was slammed on the back of his head, and then I can't remember who it was. A player tweeted out, "Can't we go back to just playing on grass anymore? All these synthetic fields. You realize how little cushion." I don't have to tell you this, Barrett, but back when you played on concrete at the vet, but even with these new modernized fields, synthetics with real grass woven into them, so on and so forth.
Mhm.
There's very little padding under a lot of these fields, so you're still basically playing on concrete. And the fact that, he hit his head the way he did, I'm surprised in a lot of ways that he has all the feeling in his extremities as soon as he did.
Mhm.
I mean, that was almost like being in a car crash,
Bro,
what happened to him last night.
It's either worse. You go out west, like I think Candlestick Park had the baseball dirt in it. I mean, that was the worst playing on that stuff. You slide on that, and you got all kind of dirt and rocks inside your skin, and bro, it was crazy. And then it didn't help playing at the vet. The vet being so old, and the fact that people are, spitting on it, everything else. You would get staph infection from, first of all, they'd rip all your skin off. The first layer of your
straight
skin
up
is
burns.
gone.
They were just burns.
Yeah. So strip all the skin off, but then you get all the gunk, dirt, and all for all them years, spit and everything else going up into your sore, man. Where you almost needed a tetanus shot.
Not to cut you guys off, but I've been going back and forth with Chris Longan because of flight arrangements. Hey, Chris says he can come on now for like 15 minutes. He lands in Philadelphia at 2:30. He's flying on a private plane, but who knows how long it's going to take him to get off the flight.
Derek, we'll put him as soon as he's ready.
So Xander, I'll tell him, Xander, as soon as you see him, let's get him on before he gets on his plane.
Yeah, we'll roll. As soon as he's ready, we'll roll. You got it. No problem, Derek. Yeah, but just to put a bow on this, guys. So before we have Chris come up here, Alan Sills, who is the NFL chief medical officer, says that Tua Tunga, just came out from Tom Pelissaro of the NFL Network. Tua Tagovailoa was checked for concussion symptoms every day since Sunday. Points out independent neurologist expert had to clear him. Once review is done, they will release the results publicly. It should be very soon. Okay? Well, we'll see. I know what my eyeballs told me, and I know that guy didn't look right on last Sunday. I know that much. And so all these doctors and everybody else can say whatever they want. I don't. Again, we'll find out how this all shakes itself out. That's for sure. Look who we have, Derek. Speak it into existence, man. The one and all, the honorary captain this Sunday. That is a big. You got to be nervous, Chris. This is a big deal, man, to be the honorary captain. It's Chris Long. What's happening, Chris?
There we go. Let me turn myself the right way. It is a big deal, man. Hold on. Let me get this back. There we go. It's a big deal.
Lid, too.
It's a big deal, guys. It's
Yeah.
It's cool. I get to bring my family. We're all about to hop on a flight here in Virginia. And, this is why you put in the work. And, this is a great part about being a champion. We all were lucky enough to be a part of that team. And then we get to come back and do fun stuff like this. So, and bring my kids down on the field. And, I don't care if it's raining. I hope it's sloppy and disgusting, and it's football. I'm excited.
Hey, do you get back to Philadelphia often for games since you retired?
So because of the way the pandemic was, honestly, I don't think I've taken advantage of it enough.
Okay.
I came back for last year's tailgate. That's why I'm coming up this year for our Legends tailgate. If anybody wants to check it out, chrislongfoundation.org/events. But, I'm going to be coming up a lot more. I want to get to multiple games a year now because I really do feel at home. It's cool. I say this a lot, but I played in St. Louis a long time and the team moved. So, there's no going back to St. Louis to see a football game. And I don't go to LA to see the Rams, and I don't really go to New England. So for me, it's really important. It's nice to have a home.
Thinking about, you coming into this game, man, and here you got Doug, your ex coach, and then you got your Eagles squad, man. How is it going to come in, man? Where does your allegiance lie? You're going to be pulled back and forth when you get out there, bro.
Listen, I do a pretty good job of pulling for players, man. I do pull for the Eagles more than other teams, obviously, because they're my favorite team. But because I'm a national media member, quote unquote, I do have to kind of try to keep my allegiance to a team out of it, and it can be hard sometimes, especially as a betting man.
Right.
Because I get I'll never bet against the Eagles because, I don't want to sit there pulling for my team and having a conflict. But I think it'll be easy, man. I want the Eagles to win. I want Doug to have a nice game. I want the Jaguars to look like the competent bunch that they've become. I mean, you can see his fingerprint on that team immediately, the speed with which they play offensively, the tempo, the motion. getting people open. Christian Kirk, we all kind of laughed at that contract, right? Because it reset the market, but he's been, Trevor Lawrence's best friend through a couple weeks, and they got him out of the backfield. They're getting something out of Evan Ingram. They're blocking up front well together, and, it's sign of Doug, I think, and the defense is playing great too. So it's going to be a tough battle. And when you look at the rest of the Eagles' schedule, I can't find a clear game where they're going to be dogs,
Mm-hmm.
So this is a different challenge for them. Our challenge, our Super Bowl year was, hey, like, we're under the radar. We have to prove ourselves. We have to take this next step to convince people that we're real. Pretty early for people to make us the NFC favorite. So they're going to have that target on their back every week.
Chris, you look at it, it wasn't, from an Eagles standpoint, it wasn't all that long ago when, Carson was still here, Doug was still here. They had, Deshaun and Alshon, and they were, it was a 4-win team. 2 years later, they're 3-0, the only undefeated team. They appear to have a really stacked roster. It's hard to flip it over that quickly. I mean, we're seeing Doug and Jacksonville doing a nice job down there too, but are you surprised the Eagles will be able to get it back together that quick?
Yeah, I didn't see this coming to this degree, man. Like, they were really competent in spurts last year. They obviously made the playoffs, but the Bucs game kind of showed how far away they were. And the NFC simultaneously is kind of down. You look at some of those heavy hitters, they're going through things offensively, like Tom, the middle of that offense, the outside, the thin line between him having a lot of weapons and not having very many at all because of the injuries and the age of some of the people they acquired, and not having, Gronk, and then Devontae Adams, who'd been with Aaron for a long time, heading to Vegas. The Rams, Matt Stafford. I'm getting a call. Let me ignore that. Matt Stafford's health situation. So no matter what division you go to, the top dog has question marks, but the Eagles seem to be rounding into form. And I think it starts with Jalen Hurts being consistently on target, man. This has been fun to watch. Last year was kind of a rookie year for him, right? And people lose sight of how little he had to work with as a rookie and the situation he was dumped into. I always want to just see more consistency from him. So, like, we all know that he's capable of this stuff, but, like, do it week in and week out. And I think he's got a great opportunity to go out there and prove it against a young, hungry defense that's been better than people think. And when you have an offensive line like that, that's been the one constant from that Super Bowl team. I mean, they've lost some players, but they've replaced them well, and Stout's a great coach. So I think that's the thing you hang your hat on. And then the defensive line reminds me of our group, but maybe even better.
All right, so Chris, because you played for Doug, give me some inside intel on Doug in terms of what he's telling his young team all week long leading up to this big matchup.
My audio's out. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, man. You guys might have to write something down on a piece of paper. Hold on a second. Let me. Can I log back in real quick?
Yes. Yeah. Right. Chris, if you could hear us, yes. Yes. Okay. Modern technology. It's unbelievable.
Man.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're limited with him. He's obviously hopping a flight. So when he comes back, Derek, you and then Barrett, if you want to hit him with one more, and then we probably got to wrap him, but we'll definitely get one more in there. As soon as he pops up, I'll let you guys know.
Dude, we've had internet issues all week, man. It's been crazy.
And you guys know me. Like, when my internet goes down, you know how I am. I lose my mind. Okay, all right. Chris is back.
So we're back. I had to, I'm old, so I had to take a break. It's a lot like when I was on the Eagles. Situational pass rusher.
Your dial-up works perfectly, Chris. It's great.
Hey, what I was going to ask you was, since you played for Doug, I need some inside intel. What has he been telling his young team all week long, leading up to this big game against the only undefeated team left in the league? Because Jacksonville has been one of the teams that's now being talked about across the league.
Well, I think don't fear him. Like, Doug's not a fear person. Like, Doug doesn't coach scared, and his players don't play scared. And we never played scared. Like, we loved playing people that people were afraid of. We love those opportunities, and if you're Doug, you're saying, guys, we just went to LA and kicked the dog, what, out of a team that a lot of people had in the Super Bowl. Now, I know they were down Bosa, and I know Herbert's hurt, but, I don't think there's a throw that Herbert can't make, even with messed up ribs. I mean, you saw the throw to Guyton last week, the throw he made in Kansas City. So it's not like that win was was anything to write off because of the Chargers situation. So I think Doug's saying, man, like, you will love this opportunity. We're going to play in a great football city. People are going to be yelling at you, screaming at you. There's going to be boos. Probably not for Doug. I think people are going to give Doug a big warm welcome, and they should, man. I love that dude. And I think he's going to have those guys ready to play. And I think this is going to be a really tough test for the Birds, man. But again, sloppy game, rain, taking care of the football, that sort of thing, all these little things are going to be what you're going to be harping on.
Last question for me. I always thought it was an advantage as an offensive lineman, you know, for those sloppy, rainy games, because I didn't think you guys could get off the ball as fast, you know, as we pass rush to get off the ball as fast. So I used to love that, you know. But I also think that because they're a smaller defensive line, they're doing a lot of slanting and stunts and stuff like that. So I think they're going to run zone plays as opposed to, you know, running, power plays. What do you think, you know, about that?
Well, as a D lineman, my thing was always I wasn't the best. You know, I was a speed rusher when I was young. You know, I could bend the edge, but my game always came off of power, especially, you know, early in my career and then late in my career. You know, even though you're a little lighter, you're not getting any faster. So you gotta learn to use your power. And I think if you can lean into, like, BG's game is built for the rain.
Yep.
You know,
yeah, it is.
like BG's game, because it's a lot of stopping and starting. It's a lot of pushing and pulling. And, you know, as you try to get your feet in the ground, you know how this is. I mean, and it's wet out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to try to rush like a Hassan Reddick might try to rush, you know, burning the edge, speed. But I think in the rain, for a guy like myself or like a BG, for sure, this is going to be just fine.
All right, Chris, last one from me. I know you got to hop a flight. We appreciate you squeezing us in, man. Thank you very much.
Of course, yeah. I got my guy D-Gun, man.
I appreciate it, brother.
Gunner's the Godfather. You know that.
I still feel bad because I told him one time after a game, I was like, D-Gun, I can't do it. I'm in a bad mood.
He remembered that. Yeah. He remembered. He remembered. And the funny thing was, I'm like, what did I do to him? And then, but I will give him credit for one thing. I will give him credit for this. A few days later in the locker room, he pulled me and said, D-Gun, I just want to apologize, bro. It was just that I had a bad game. And I said, you know what? Dude, I have a lot of respect because a lot of players would just move on, wouldn't even think about it. But this dude went out of his way in a locker room full of median players and said that. And I'll never forget that, bro.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Did we lose Chris? He's still there?
Wait, did he freeze again? Oh, man, I got two quick questions I need to ask him.
Oh, no.
No.
I think Xander may try and get him back. I don't know if he's literally like about to board the flight with the family or not. So we'll try and get him back up. If Chris, you can hear us, if you want to dial back in,
man.
You froze up a little bit on us, man. That was funny, man. I'll tell you this. That's what I was going to hit him with a podcast question. Oh, he's back. We think we got you back, Chris.
Yep.
All right. So last one, man. I know you're jammed a little bit, but your podcast is awesome. And I tell everybody that all the time, green light. Yep. You do two features, right? One, Gunner loves refrigerator talk. Of course he does.
Love
it. And the other one is you do I don't know what it's called, forgive me, like Alive or Dead, which is freaking hilarious. It's freaking hilarious. Like it takes some balls to do that segment too, because you literally, like, you're guessing sometimes, so-and-so dead. Nah, he's still alive. So
well, you know, listen, I think it's good news when you're wrong, right? Like, you're like, oh, that's a pleasant surprise. I didn't know that Dick Van Dyke was alive. Like, who would have thought? So, you know, and I think Dick Van Dyke would understand the humor in it because he's like, man,
man.
Yeah.
But I do feel bad sometimes when somebody I damn well should know is alive. You know, I'm just not real good at keeping track of people.
So, Chris, next time the Queen's dead. In case you haven't heard.
Thank you. Good.
Yeah. I got you, man.
All right, I got two quick ones for you. First of all, where did you come up with this refrigerator talk? Dude, that is hilarious.
Man, because I don't have a ring light. So, like, I need, you know, sometimes you try to do something at home, and I hate, first off, I hate doing selfie videos. I feel like most of the time when I see people doing them, they're kind of cringy. Yeah. And I cringe at myself, and I hate the sound of my voice. You guys know how that is. That's you work in the media.
Yeah, man.
So the fridge just feels good, man, at midnight after a primetime game. The fridge is it's my spot, and I don't have a ring light, so.
That's awesome.
All right, and secondly, will you break out the old fur coat from storage from 2017?
Nah, man, that's a me move.
Oh, come on, man.
Like that's a look at me, look what, that was for one day and one day only. That was for the big party. And I want to show as much respect as I can as I roll back up. So I'll have my nice Eagles jacket that people always dig on the pod. We got him, me and BG got him in London with the Great Britain patch.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Queen, who is dead. And I'll be raring to go, man. A couple Miller Lights deep, wanting to run out on the field.
Nice. Awesome, Chris. Have a great flight, man.
Thank you,
we're
bro.
really
I appreciate y'all,
excited.
man.
We're really excited for you this Sunday, man. Enjoy
I'm excited.
yourself.
I'll see y'all in Philly.
All right, take
man.
care.
Take care, bro.
Right.
You got it, Chris Long. What is that's a dude, right? His shirt said the dude. He is the dude. He
Right.
is that guy, man. He's a great guy.
You got to have that. I mean, when you're like that, you can literally go anywhere in the world, bro, and be accepted, man.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world. Because once you start thinking you're more than what you are, that's when, everything goes downhill. He'll never be that way, man. That's why he's a great dude, man.
Yeah.
I told you, the first time I met all of them together, it was the two brothers.
Yeah.
It was Chris and his
Kyle,
brother.
Kyle.
Chris and Kyle. Kyle was playing for the Oregon Ducks.
Yes.
And Howie is there.
Right.
So before the game.
The ultimate badass, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're in a hotel. We're in a 5-star hotel.
Right.
It's the night before the game. And when Kyle comes down, Chris starts giving him the business. So they start wrestling, and their dad joins in. And they're in the middle of this 5-star hotel, furniture moving. They're breaking stuff. They're in the middle of this hotel wrestling.
One dude's a Hall of Famer. The other guy's a first-round pick. And these guys are wrestling in the middle of a hotel.
In the middle of a hotel. It was crazy, man.
Oh,
it was
my
crazy.
God. Yeah.
So,
Can you imagine sitting down at a family dinner with that family, man?
Right.
Dude, that would be worth the price of admission.
I'm with you. He does a segment too on his podcast with Bo Allen, former Eagle.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, dude. I'll just tell you to watch it, and it's not safe for work sometimes.
I'm glad you said that, Rob, because when Bo Allen was here, very quiet, very reserved.
Yeah.
But since he's been on his podcast, you got to have the bleep button ready every 5 seconds. I'm like, this is not the Bo Allen I covered.
No. He's come out of his shell a little bit. Yeah.
The Kelsey brothers are the same way.
Yeah. It's good. It's fun. It's very fun. Like, they don't take themselves seriously.
Right.
They're just, and they do talk a lot of football. It's not that,
they do.
It's a lot of, it's good stuff. Anyway, so we appreciate Chris. And again, if you're down there at the game, he'll make it memorable, right? Would we agree on that?
Bro, I'm reading the bro. They are going crazy, man.
Who?
The stream, man.
Oh, the stream.
They love Chris, man.
They're killing you on the Queen, man.
I know. I had to work it in. All I was trying to do was help him. I'm trying to help Chris for the next time.
But Rob, you had to bring up the Queen.
I know. I am weirdly obsessed, aren't I? Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's my fault.
Dude, my wife thinks that's hilarious, man. With your
everybody
thinks
thinks
Queen.
it's hilarious.
Well, my wife will come home from work and be like, "What are you talking about the Queen again? Like, what's going on?" Because she'll see tweets, she'll see people reacting to it. Yeah, she's like, "What is it with you?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's always on. I get annoyed."
Oh my goodness!
And she knows, like, the second it comes on, she has to turn it off, or else I'll start yelling.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my God!
You're gonna have a bunch of British people sitting in your front yard one day, bro. I'm just telling you right now.
I know.
Listen, a bunch of Mini Coopers just go pull up on you, bro.
Man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Cheerio. All right, so here's what we're gonna do.
Day 47. Rob Ellis bunkered down.
Still obsessed with the Queen. So we'll come back and we will dive into the big matchups of Week 4. We didn't even get into that. We had Chris on, but there's some great matchups here. Week 4, and give our upset game. We will give our upset game as well. Later in the show, we'll give our Eagles predictions with the point spreads. We'll do that a little bit later, but we'll dive in. Yes, Christian, have an altar to the Queen in the crawl space. That is correct. Yes, I do. Right here, baby. You see it. So anyway, we'll do all that stuff. Don't go anywhere. Man, I've held off on the Phillies too for an hour and a half.
I know you have. I'm proud of you. I can't wait till we get to the Phillies.
At least Milwaukee's cooperating with us.
They helped.
Yeah, they're cooperating.
Boy, they blew that game. Wow.
Yes, that's it. All right, we'll do all that when we get back. Don't go anywhere. Derek, Barrett, Rob, we are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Flynn Tree Services. Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. And they offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problems that you may have. So if you have any type of issues, they're just a quick phone call away. They service Southeastern PA, South Jersey, Northern Delaware, and they trim all types of trees, anything you need. All right. They specialize in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Flynn Tree Services will be there for you with an evaluation. Keep in mind, we're in hurricane season, right? Now's a great time to get everything checked out in your yard or on your property to make sure you don't have any trees that are ready to come down. You go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Flynn Tree Services is a very simple phone call away. 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flynntreeservices.com, flynntreeservices.com.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Action News at 11 with Rick Williams. It's the team you trust to bring it all together. The stories that impact your community. A sports roundup for the locals. And the AccuWeather forecast you depend on. Action News at 11 with Rick Williams.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Since 1977 at Rafferty Subaru, we have always been about our customers and the community. Early on, a safe and durable option, we've evolved to become the best overall brand according to Kelley Blue Book. Over the last 14 years, we've donated thousands of dollars through the Subaru Share the Love event and found homes for hundreds of pets. The Rafferty family is proud of our 45 years in business. This month, celebrate our anniversary with special financing on select models. Visit us and see why.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Hello there. Hola, mi amigos. We are back. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks. What do you do? A change of glasses? What's going on here, man? You all right? You're muted, first off. That's push-ups.
God, dang it.
Come on.
No, man, I had to clean them real quick, man. I touched them. I touched the lens. I got a smudge on them.
Gotcha.
Yep, I got my eyes watering, so I just had to clean them up a little bit. We good. We're good.
Okay. You getting emotional during the midway point of the show? Is that what's going on?
Emotional? Heck no. I'm emotional because I'm freezing in this house. My wife has an AC on. I got to go downstairs. Turn
AC is on today?
AC is blowing. I'm going to turn it off.
Oh,
Yeah,
I shut
it off after this show.
Shut it all off. I think it was last week or the week before, man. It's nice.
I did it the week before, and I dare somebody to touch him.
I'm with you there.
Come to my house. Come to my house. Come to my house, it's Civil War.
Listen to this. So here's the kicker, right? So we turned it off, and then last weekend I'm getting the hints like, it's cold in here. I'm like, no, we're not doing this yet. It's still September. Like the hint to put the heat on. Like, give me a break. Ugh. Anyway,
man, this is ridiculous, man. This AC, I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I can't believe the AC is still on, man. That's
dude. I still slept under a fan, 2 fans last night.
Man,
I had icicles on top of my ball dome when I woke up this morning, man.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, man.
Man.
Unbelievable. All right, so let's look at some of the games this week, guys. So we have the London game, the 9:30. Will you guys watch that, or is that kind of just like wallpaper when you're doing stuff in the morning before all the games get cracking?
I'll see the first hour.
The London game. Will you the 9:30 kickoff between the Vikings and the Saints? Will you be locked in, or is that just kind of?
I'll just be getting to work, so I'll be locked in. I'll have all my stuff ironed already, so yeah, I'll be locked in.
Okay.
I will watch the first hour from Ocean Casino, because from 10:30 to 11:30 we have the JAKIB Sports Media pregame show with myself, Mark Farzetta, Seth Joyner, Devin Caney. So I'll see the first hour of it, and of course in between commercial breaks I'll be looking over my shoulder. You know, you guys were there. They got those big 23 big monitors up behind us in that gallery. So amazing. I'll be peeking, and then and of course then when we're off the show at 11:30 we're not back on again until after the game. So I'll be watching it up to the Eagles kickoff.
All right, very cool.
I love early games, man. It brings back West Coast vibes.
The more the merrier. You want to throw me a game at 9:30? I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm not breaking it down or taking down, charting every play, but I'm in. You know,
dude, I can't. We've talked about this a number of times. That's what I loved about living on the West Coast. You know, you get a 1 o'clock game at early in the morning. You get the 4:30 game at 1:30. Still got your evening to do what you want to do, whether you want to go out, head out to the beach, whatever.
I hadn't thought about that, man.
Oh yes. Oh man, I loved it, man.
Oh, okay.
That is the end of the day part where everything's kind of done by 8 o'clock is interesting to me. You know, that is interesting.
The 8:15 game is 5:15 out west. Oh heck yeah, I love that, man. I miss that.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, that is cool. All right, so we have that, and as we mentioned earlier, very shaky whether Jameis Winston's going to. I can't imagine they're going to roll him out there in that game. But if he can't go, it'll be Andy Dalton, and we know no Michael Thomas, so we know that. So the Saints are going to be a little bit shorthanded in that one. So that could be a tough one for them. Now here's the interesting thing about that game, guys. So if they lose that game, the Saints are 1-3.
Yep.
You know, that's good for the Eagles right now. That's a top 7 pick.
Yep.
Okay. So if they keep falling, the wrong way, not only are they out of it in the NFC, it could mean a very good pick for the Eagles. So just keep that in mind. Vikings need that win too. They go to 3-1 in the NFC North. So that's the other good thing.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Somehow she snuck on.
Yeah. Here we go.
Here it is.
Telling the truth. See, I know. Hey, Rob.
Oh my gosh.
Rob, we're starting to learn. We've learned more about you through your wife and your daughter than I ever knew about you in 20 plus years.
So it's such a misleading representation.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Because
all I do, I'm just like, whatever you guys want to do. Like, that's how I roll in the house. Trust me.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this.
Aggravation.
I'm gonna tell you this. It doesn't take much for Rob to be cold, though. He's always cold, anyways.
Yeah,
so he'll probably turn
the same way.
He'll probably turn the heat on before anybody wants to turn it on, anyways.
You want to see? All right. Speaking of, I have a blanket on because I'm in my freezing box of a home studio. It is icicles down here, man.
Here's how I know there's some truth to what his wife and his daughter says, because when I sat across from his daughter and him, we were down at Ocean when she dropped a dime on his eating habits. Barrett, you were there.
Yep.
Rob's face turned beet red and he was speechless. He started going, no, that's not true.
I was hemming and hawing.
You know he was lying. You know doggone well he was lying. She dimed him out big time, and now his wife is that. Thank you, Maggie. I so appreciate this.
John, and if she wants to confirm this, John asked, was she on Dance? But she was on Dancing on Air, Dance Party USA is what it became later. If she wants to confirm, I don't make this stuff up. It's true.
Y'all got to do what I do, man. See, my wife hinted this morning. She said, I need to go with some highlights. And I said, Go. She goes, really? I said, just go. Yeah, you go take off. So that way I know she's focused on that. She's not dropping any little D-Gun tidbits on this show today,
You're not
brother.
getting something else new added to the deck or anything like that?
Nope,
right now.
that's done, brother. I just had 6 outlets installed on that deck, all over the deck. No, that's it. Done. Done with that.
What are you doing tomorrow, bro?
Tomorrow? I gotta drive in this monsoon to Ocean Casino tomorrow.
No, tomorrow's Saturday.
Yeah, I drive the day before.
Oh, you go down Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I
So
get
what
a
do you do Saturday during the day?
free hotel suite. You better believe I'm driving tomorrow, bro.
I hear you. I hear you.
So what are you doing during the day, though?
During the day?
Yeah.
Honey-do list.
Okay. What about you, Rob? What you
Barrett
doing
wants to
tomorrow?
sneak some fishing in.
Right.
I
Yes.
wish.
That's what I
Man,
wanna do.
I
I'm
knew-
not
I
going
knew
out
where
the
you were
monsoon. Ain't going out the monsoon tomorrow, man. Are you going out fishing? Seriously?
Tomorrow, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
In the rain?
Yes.
It's not going to rain tomorrow.
Yeah,
Sills
what?
is right. Sills is right. He is dead on. He
I
is
don't know about where you live, but according to my forecast, a 70% chance of rain Saturday, 80% chance of rain Sunday, 50% chance of rain Monday, 60% Tuesday. Now I don't know what bubble you live in because you're not that far from me. I would imagine you're going to get hit by some rain at some point of the day.
Oh, I didn't know that, man. I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, we are going to get rain. Yeah,
I'm
we're
about
gonna get rain.
D-Gun Weather Channel right here, bro.
That's
You
right.
are.
do that.
You're like the Jim Cantor.
I am, dude. I love
Rob Marciano.
That messes up my whole day. I mean, like I'm gonna work the rest of this day because I took off from NBC.
Yeah,
today.
you better crack any kind of stuff you got to do outside.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna do a lot of because I gotta sand the whole
I hear
truck
you.
down.
Oh, heck no.
I'm at least I'm gonna get the body work done on it. You know, we'll
Yeah.
go through, pull out dents, and do some
There you go.
fiberglassing. I fiberglassed the my dually thing.
Man,
what do you call
if
it?
somebody had me at gunpoint and said fiberglass your dually, I would be a dead man. Okay.
It's just the wheel wells. The wheel wells on it are fiberglass. So
no, I got you.
It cracks, so I'm not.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it.
doing
That's what I was
real
doing
work.
before the break. You guys interrupted me on the break. When I had to come in.
Excuse us.
Yeah, I was working.
Hey,
Oh,
Nathan Hoffman, to answer your question, the awning measurements were perfect. The awning is up. Everything's in place. My wife has drained me from what little savings I had left. She's happy with the deck, the awning, the outlets, the furniture. Can y'all loan me some money? Hey,
Yeah, seriously, man.
chat room, chat. Can y'all help? Because Rob and Barrett are cheap. They claim they're friends, but they're cheap.
There's
They
a
will
fine
not
line
donate.
between cheap and broke, and I
It's
fall
right.
into the latter category. Okay?
None of
I've never
them.
heard that before.
No, hey, look,
Cheap is a choice. Broke ain't a choice. Okay. Trust me.
Hey, look,
Why do you think I
none
have
of-
47 jobs? Okay.
Look, none of these so-called friends of mine on this show will donate to the Help D-Gun Move to California Foundation. So I'm asking the chat room, can you help me out? Can you help a brother out?
Yes.
Help the D-Gun
Take
Move to
care of our
California
friend,
Foundation.
our poor
Yes.
friend. Yeah, who's
because
fallen on hard times.
my alleged friends here have turned their back on me for years.
Stop. We love you.
Exactly.
No money coming, but we love you. Emotional support.
He got that in real quick. No money coming, but we love you, D-Gun.
It's emotional support, Derek. That's how we support you.
Oh man, Jeremiah Butler, man. Why got to be a cookout involved in this, dude?
There's always food involved, or some
Why can't
kind
they
of
just give from the heart, man? That's what I
Yes.
do. What I give is just from the heart.
Exactly.
The left side that pumps blood, I mean, really? You can't just give from the heart?
Really?
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm saying. Really? That's what I said. Really?
Yeah, it's
Come
true.
on, Derek.
It's true. That's
Man, Barrett hold money so tight, he pull a dollar out of his pocket and got sunglasses on.
I have cobwebs on the money in my pockets, according to Popcorn TV. Oh my God!
Not
it's
according to Maggie. Maggie
Yeah,
said
right.
you rolling in cash,
Oh,
man.
sure. All right, so week 4 matchups, fellas. I mentioned the early game. This one isn't maybe a great matchup, Washington and the Cowboys, but I don't know. Is this where we see Washington just spin off into orbit somewhere? Or, I mean, are they just cooked? And are the Cowboys? What are the Cowboys exactly? I mean, their defensive line was ferocious against the Giants on Monday, but what exactly are they?
This is a game that's custom made for Carson Wentz.
Really?
Yes. These are the games that he goes out and somehow pulls it off, man.
Huh?
This is gonna be my upset of the week. My upset of the week. Dallas
Really?
loses to Commandos.
I think this is a custom.
That's your, look at that. Barrett's already working it into his upset.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think this is a custom-made game for that Dallas Fast and Furious front to get after Carson.
That's the way I was thinking.
After what they watched the Eagles do to that front.
They're going to go in confident, almost too confident, and that's going to be their downfall. They're going to go in just too confident.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fascinating. All right, you caught me off guard with that one, Barry.
Yeah, really.
That's a Washington game. Titans and the Colts is interesting because it's two desperate teams. You know, you got the
that's
Colts.
going to be one of the better games of the day.
Yeah,
right
I
there.
agree. It's an AFC South battle. You have a 1-2 and a 1-1-1 team.
That's crazy. 1-1-1.
And don't think, and don't think that those two aren't looking over their shoulder to the Jags too.
Yes.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
So that's a biggie. You know, and you want to see how do they handle Matt Ryan? What is Matt Ryan? Can Tennessee get any kind of offense generated, even though they don't have A.J. Brown anymore? Both teams have tons of question marks.
Tons of them. There's been some great games going on this week. You know, Chiefs, Bucks, Rams, 49ers. I tell you what, I think Eagles, Jazz would probably be one of the number one games this week.
Yes. Oh,
you know what I mean?
yes.
I mean,
yes.
at this point, there will be a lot of people very interested to see what this Eagles team, what they really are.
Yep.
So we'll have the nation looking at us this weekend for sure.
Agreed, Barrett. Agreed. All right, so that's a good one there. I don't know. Bears, Giants. I only bring it up because it's the NFC, but I want to see. You know, I don't believe in the Giants. Let me just say that. But if you're going to be one of the better sort of lower tier teams, you handle your business against the Bears if you're the Giants at home. Coming off that loss on Monday night where they hung with the Cowboys, right? Do we think the Giants bounce back here?
Whoa.
I don't like the game, by the way. I don't like any parts of that game.
Yeah, I think the Giants bounce back. But if I was a fan of either one of those teams, I might not even watch that game. The matchup looks so pathetic on paper. Yeah. I don't know if I'd watch the game, to be honest. I'd find something else to do.
You know what Chicago's got to do? And I get it. Like, I understand from a record standpoint, if you looked at Chicago and you didn't see them play, you'd say, not bad, 2-1. But you go behind the curtain a little bit with that team and you start looking at some of the stats. I mean, Justin Fields right now through 3 games, 23 of 45.
I know.
Like, what? 45 attempts in 3 games?
Hey,
that is ridiculous.
15 attempts per game?
Josh Allen just threw 60 passes in 1 game.
Like, I'm sorry. Either you trust this dude a little bit or he shouldn't be your quarterback. And I know he's young, but come on. Like, take the training wheels off.
What was he, 1 game, like 8 for 13 or
11,
something like that?
11 attempts in the 1 game.
That's crazy. Come on, man.
I don't get it.
I don't either. See, that's why I wouldn't watch that game. I'd be too frustrated with either team to watch that game.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is going to have to run for his life. You know, his passing MO is still not up to NFL standards. That would frustrate me. Yeah. The way the Bears run their team would frustrate me.
Isn't Eberflus the head coach?
He's the Bears coach.
Yeah. Eberflus.
So I'm just thinking, you know, talking about an offensive minded guy, right?
Yeah. Right. Was he defense?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Defense.
I mean, see, there it is then. There it is.
See, first of all, you hire a coach with the name of Eberflus. See, that's not it.
You better be good. Be good. Coach E. Let's just go Coach E.
You know, that's not even a football name. You know, so I can't get on board with that.
Project.
Exactly, man. Yeah. Sounds like a virus, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I got a case of the Eberflus.
Yeah.
You're on fire right now, bro. You're on fire, man. I'm telling you this, Rob. More and more people starting to love you, man. Captain Tony said, "You know what, Barrett? Rob was really he's grown on me." I said, "You don't understand,
like
Rob.
A fungus." Yeah. Oh my God.
See, for as long as I know, I've known Rob, I love Angry Rob more.
Yes.
Angry Rob is more entertaining than
I become Ron
Rob.
when that's the case. I'm Ron.
Yeah.
I know. All right. So this is where we get into like the meat here. These are the heavy hitter games. Bills, Ravens. That's right there with that's one of my favorites of the weekend. You know, Buffalo looking
win.
Huh?
I think the Ravens win.
I do too, Derek. But the Bills are coming off a loss. That's the only thing that gives me a little bit of pause there with that. But I think with the Ravens getting healthier, they're going to be trouble, man. They are going to be trouble going
I'm
forward.
telling you, at home, the way Lamar Jackson put that team on his back,
yes,
and he knows the bank is going up every week. He does something spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a feeling they're going to win this game at home. It's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be a hard-fought game. I think it's going to win this game at home. They're going to win that game at home.
Both teams lost last week, right?
No, Ravens beat
Ravens
the
won.
Patriots.
Yeah.
That's right. They did.
But
That's right.
The Bills lost to the Dolphins. Yeah.
Both teams lost to the Dolphins.
Both teams lost to the Dolphins. Yes.
Yep. Both teams lost to the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Ravens were up big and coughed it up when they played. But yeah, so, and that line, Buffalo's favored by 3 at Baltimore. That's interesting.
At Baltimore.
Line knows something we don't know.
6-point line then, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a weird. That line's telling me to take Buffalo, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
This may be the first time I go against you guys. I think I'm gonna go with Buffalo. They're gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
And they're now past the point where, all right, we know we're our safety's down. We're down to safety. We know we got 2 rookies playing corner. It's just time to go out there and play.
Yeah.
Time to play now. So
No, I hear you.
I think they take over now.
So the Patriots Packers are playing, and the last report I saw from New England was Mac Jones was at practice. Now, I don't know if that means he's practicing or not.
Right.
I could be at practice. It doesn't mean I'm lining up on Sunday. So I still don't buy that. I don't think he plays, but
I don't either. You're talking about high ankle sprain. Anytime you talk high ankle sprain, he ain't playing the next week. He's not playing the next week.
Playing games. Belichick's playing games right now.
Oh, what did he say? What was the standard line? They said the reporters were writing down how many times
day to day.
12 times he said it. Yeah.
And, if I was would probably say, look, man, I'm at a point. I've been covering you so long as day to day before I punch you right in your forehead.
Yes.
I'm tired of this. can't you tell us something instead of being a smart aleck?
Well, you know what's interesting with him? It's like it was the same way with Popovich. When he won, you're just like, all right, what am I going to do? The guy's winning. But when they don't win and they're jerks like this, it gets real old real fast.
Right.
Yeah, man. Jeez.
Packers Broncos.
No, Packers play.
Excuse me, Broncos Raiders. Sorry about that. Broncos Raiders.
Broncos winning that game.
You think I think the Raiders get their first win.
Now, watching that Broncos defense, Derek Carr got problems playing that Broncos defense.
That's a really good defense. It is.
That's a good defense.
And the Raiders defense sucks.
Yeah.
Well, and their offensive line's not great either.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Broncos win
that game again.
I say no mas. I say no mas now, man. I tried my best to pull them out of the hat, and they just totally screwed me, bro.
Barry, I'm backing them, man. I'm backing them this weekend at home. Desperation game. If you got anything, you got any kind of fortitude.
You're right. I got to go with them again.
Come on,
week 4. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
They get their first win against the Broncos.
Devontae Adams goes off. He's going to get his. He's going to wake up.
He ain't going off against that defense. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, 17 targets his first game for 140-some yards.
I'm trying to convince myself.
The last 2 games, he's had 16 between the 2 of them.
Yeah, he can't.
How did he get targeted 2 times?
And I know he loves Carr, but my man's got to be pissed. I mean, there's no other way.
No question
to put it. Chiefs and the Bucks. This is Sunday night. This game's in Tampa, and they're good to go from all the weather services. This line is even. This is a pick 'em essentially
because
they will get. We know Mike Evans is playing. There's still a lot of questions with injuries for the Bucks. We know at least
that's going to be a good game.
Yeah,
that's a game right there. If Kansas City gets on a roll scoring, I don't know if Tampa has the firepower to catch them because they're so nicked up. I don't see Tom Brady coming back. Again, Kansas City's defense has been playing a lot better than we gave it credit for.
They have. But they're playing probably the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
The last time they played
Julio might be back though.
Julio might be back.
They said Julio might be back.
Okay.
But still, Smith, the starting left tackle, still not back. He's still not back, man. I don't understand that. And then Akeem Hicks is not back either.
Oh, see, that's a biggie. That's
huge.
That's
what the hell is wrong with Ryan Jensen, though? I still don't know what's wrong with him.
Well, he had the knee issue. And they're saying I don't know. They're not saying, but they're saying he could be back in the latter part of this season. That's what they've consistently said. They haven't said if it was MCL, ACL, ICL, UCL, whatever it is. We don't know, but we know he's hurt.
All right. So the other one is the good Monday night. Rams 49ers. 49ers need it bad, man, after that loss last week.
I'm taking the Niners in that game.
I'm with you, Derek. I'm with you.
It's
a 1.5 point 49ers favorites in that game.
Wait, the Niners are favorite?
At home.
Oh, yeah. At home. Okay.
1.5 against the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking the Niners at home in that game.
Yeah. I mean, they lose, man, 1-3.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. Especially if the Rams go up to 3-1.
Yeah.
They know what's at stake here.
Yeah.
I think they finally got it right. They turned the corner now. The Rams go up there and beat them convincingly.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing last week, and this has been a huge problem for him, Stafford's been turning the ball over a ton earlier in the year. He cleaned it up last week. That's the way they got to go, man.
Yep.
He's got to prevent the turnovers here, and if he doesn't, it's going to be ugly. That's for sure.
I got 2 upset specials. Oh, wait, go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
No, that was it. Go ahead.
Oh, that's the list. 2 upset specials. And I know you think I'm going to be crazy.
All right.
Seattle shocks Detroit.
Whoa.
Seattle shocks Detroit.
Detroit's banged up.
Yes, no St. Brown, no DeAndre Swift. Jamal Williams is a running back, but he ain't DeAndre Swift.
Well, they're getting 3.5. So there you go.
3.5. Okay.
Okay.
And Carolina beats Arizona.
Wow. That's huge right there.
I would like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I'll tell you my upset.
What?
The Commanders beat the Cowboys.
Okay. All right. Now people are thinking we're off the deep end today.
No, I don't think any of those are crazy. The Commander one, I got to say, Barry, I'm surprised. I'll just put it that way. That's a surprise to me. But I don't think anything you guys said is crazy, really, honestly, if you look at it. Look, I'll give you a couple things that I like here, and I don't know if it would fall into the upset category or not. But if I'm looking at these games, I'll get into we'll do the Eagles picks later, by the way. So that we will do that later. I like Kansas City. I like Kansas City to go into Tampa and win the game.
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I think they will take care of business. I don't see any kind of issues there. The other one that I was looking at is if Mac Jones doesn't play, I don't think he will. I think the Packers destroy the Patriots. I think they take him to the woodshed.
Ooh, the way Green Bay's defense is playing right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And New England has no firepower to begin with. Even if Jones is playing, he doesn't have any firepower.
But they got Aguilar. They got acrobatic Aguilar,
who mossed somebody 2 weeks ago.
And then he fumbled last week. He had a big fumble last week.
Come on, Rob. Come on, man. Be positive.
Right.
Here's one for you.
All right.
Can Atlanta beat Cleveland?
No.
Wait. No Clowney at practice today. No Garrett at practice today. Bear, you know how it goes. If you don't practice on Friday, you don't play on Sunday.
That's what it is, too. Both of you are starting pass rushers.
Yeah.
I still don't know, man. I think offensively, Atlanta can't stop anybody.
And
I would go. I would go there, guys. Over 47.
Ooh,
yeah.
Look, they almost beat the Rams, right? They almost. If it wasn't for Jalen Ramsey at the goal line, they almost came back and beat the Rams.
We don't talk about that much. They did almost come back.
They won last Sunday, right? Who did they beat last Sunday?
The Falcons played the Rams and lost. You're saying is that?
No, wait. Last Sunday's game, who did they play? Wait a minute.
I thought that was last Sunday.
They played the Rams. Yeah, they played the Rams last Sunday.
That was this past Sunday?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2 Sundays ago. Man, I'm all messed up, man.
Hold on. I'll check. I'll pull it up for you. Where was it?
And they beat the Jags.
I'm sorry. The Rams played the Cardinals.
See, y'all trying to mess me up. The Falcons won a game last Sunday, didn't
they? Where is it? Where are the Falcons?
Yeah, they beat the Seahawks by 4. I had to beat the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. It was 27-23. I'm going over 47 in that game.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Ooh, over
especially with how banged up Cleveland is on the defensive side. I will go there.
Is that the over-under for that game?
Yeah.
Okay, 47. I'm not going to go against you in that one.
We're just trying to help people. That's what we're doing. Yeah, we're giving out gifts.
By the way, Rob is a betting expert.
No way. I give out as many picks as I can and try and help the folks. Yeah, Gunnar and I used to do our show last year. Odds on.
Yeah, we did. 2 years we did it. Yes, sir.
R.I.P. Odds on. All right, so we come back. We'll hit a bunch of other stuff from the NFL. We got some ton of open talk stuff to get to, some birthdays. I have really good on this dates for you guys, which we will do as well. And we'll mix in maybe a little Phillies if my blood pressure can handle it. So we'll do all those things when we get back. Don't go anywhere. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, Birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown's 5-day used car super sale. Jeff puts an end to high prices now. 5 days of the best car, truck, and SUV deals ever. Over 1,000 vehicles, every make and model. Stop overpaying. See Jeff today and get a quality car, truck, or SUV now. The 5-day used car super sale. Experience how easy it is to deal at Jeff's. Nobody treats you better. Nobody gives you more. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. GoJeffAuto.com.
What's up, everybody? Welcome on back. Thanks for hanging out with us. He's Derek Gunn. He's Barrett Brooks. I'm Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take. Hey, by the way, we earlier today we talked to Chris Long. We talked to Demetrius Harvey. You want to check out those interviews in their entirety, you go to JAKIBsports.com. You can always go to JAKIB Sports YouTube Network as well for the full interviews and full shows if you missed anything. And I always say that's the great thing. The great advantage that we have over maybe some other mediums where if you miss something, it's not like, I'm never going to hear it. No, you can always go back and listen to our show. So, and hear the Delta tones of Derek Gunn and Barrett Brooks as well. The Phillies, let's hit it quick here before I have a convulsion.
Oh,
All right.
man, do we have to? No.
Just real fast. They lost their fifth straight yesterday. They're 0-6 against the Cubs this year, a Cubs team that's been terrible, that has been done for a long time. They got a late night break because the Brewers blew a lead in the 8th to the Marlins. That's the only thing that's saving them from not falling out of the playoff hunt right now as we speak. They are still a half game up with the head-to-head
one game advantage. Yep.
That's a big deal. So that also is good, could really factor in here. But keep in mind, guys, they led the Brewers by 4.5 games back on September 15th, just a little over 2 weeks ago. They had a pretty serious lead. They're 3-10 since that time. They've lost 10 of their last 13. It's not just a Cubs series. They've lost 10 of their last 13. Yep. They're now 10-14 in September. They're picking the worst time of year. They're playing like they played with Girardi. That's the way they're playing. They're playing tight baseball. They're gripping the bats too hard. They were 2 for 22 with runners in scoring position in the entirety of the Cubs series with just 2 extra base hits.
That's disgusting.
Yes.
They left 9 men on base again last night. They were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Again, now already through 2.5 innings today, they've already left 2 runners in scoring position. No, they've left 3 men on base, 2 runners in scoring position. Now they're hanging on to a 1-0 lead. But this game is too close for comfort, man. Considering the way they played, I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Now, if they win 3 out of 4 in this series, I will say right now they're in the playoffs. If they win 3 out of 4,
I agree, 100% agree with that. 100%.
And that's even taking into consideration they still have 3 to play against Houston at Houston to close out the season. Houston has locked up his spot in the American League, but will Houston just basically call it quits, or will they subscribe to the theory we can't afford to take any games off because we could get rusty in the playoffs if they decide
I have
to
that
approach
answered.
it?
I have the answer.
What do you think?
Dusty Baker flat out said, "I'm playing my guys for the integrity of the game."
That's not good.
I don't roll that way.
That's not good.
So I give Dusty Baker credit. I like when managers. Do you remember what Coughlin did when years back playing his guys? And then it ended up helping him later in the year when they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Do you guys remember that? I think that played a big part. I give Baker credit. It's harder for the Phillies now, but I give the guy props. He's going out swinging, man.
Do you trust this Phillies team going down to Houston if they're a half game or dead even with Milwaukee?
No.
Do you?
No.
Doesn't Milwaukee have St. Louis though?
No, they just split with St. Louis.
Yeah,
2 games. They're done.
They
finish up. Milwaukee finishes up with Miami and Arizona at home.
Yeah, everything's at home. That's exactly right, Derek. But yeah, the team that the Phillies are playing right now is as close to a minor league team than you could have.
Exactly.
Like, if you can't take 3 out of 4 from this team, honestly, you don't deserve it. Like you already barely deserve it to begin with, but you don't deserve it if you can't take 3 out of 4.
I agree 100%.
Weather's going to be weird, guys. So they're trying to sneak in a day-night doubleheader, but the forecast I've been looking at for Washington is not good.
Similar to where I am.
Very similar, Derek. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how this shakes out, man. Like, because they have to be in Houston Monday. And then you get I think there's 1 day off and the playoffs start the next day. So I don't know how they get all this in, but whatever.
If they lost 2 games due to weather in Washington, is it possible that they would have to go back to Washington after that
Houston
on the
off
series
day
and play a doubleheader?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It is, because it may come down to 1 game.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So there's nothing off the table. Like everything's possible, at this point.
Jeez.
I'll just a quick reminder and then we'll move on here. In 2021, they lost 6 of their last 7. 2020, 7 of their last 8. 2019, 9 of their last 12. 2018, 9 of their last 11. So this is not uncharted waters for this team. If you want to go, if you can somehow chip away and find one little positive, Harper looks like he's starting to hit.
Yeah, but he's getting hits with no significance to him. 3 for 4.
I know.
Okay,
not his fault, but
I know.
I hear you.
I know. But I'm saying he's not driving in runs.
Fair.
But you're right. He's starting to hit again. He's got to get that big swing back eventually. He's got to, because Schwarber's lost it for me in terms of the big swing. He's lost it for the last 3 weeks, basically.
Yeah.
So since he's lost it, where does he go?
I don't know.
You keep him right where he is.
Rolling him out in the same spot. The manager doesn't do anything to change. He just wants to keep him right.
If you put him in a cleanup, spot, he's still not hitting. So
no, I'm not putting him in cleanup. You're right. Put his butt 6th or 7th.
Yeah. Guys, I've been begging for him to switch something up. Try something new.
I want Veerling at the top of the order. I want Veerling up there.
Yeah. I just want anything. Honestly, frankly, just try something new, man. I mean, that's the way I I viewed it. They're up 2-0 now, but that's, they got to take care of their business, and we'll see how that shakes out. I'm not sure. Frankly,
Did they bring anybody up though?
They brought up Derek Hall, which was a good move.
All right.
Okay. I like that, actually. You get a guy off the bat with that pop, or maybe as a DH with that pop.
Yep.
At least it's proactive. They're trying something, man.
Yeah.
At this point. So it'll be interesting to see, what ends up happening there. Hey, I think which one of you guys sent the that clip yesterday from Doc Rivers and James Harden?
I did.
Barrett, that was awesome. Now, the gist of it is Doc saying to James Harden, like, first off, we need you and Joel to be our leaders, but we need you to just really buy into feeding him in the post. We figured that out. We're going to be unbeatable. And, everybody else will get theirs, but you take care of your business first. I thought it was a really good,
No. You missed the great part about it. He said, we need to feed him down low. We need to feed Embiid down low because we were terrible.
That's right.
In the post.
Yeah.
How bad? And before Doc even answered it, Harden said, yeah, we sucked.
Yep.
In the post.
You're right.
No. Rivers said, do you agree? And he said, yeah, we sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Have your big man down there because we haven't had an outside shooter, and Embiid had to fill them shoes also.
Yeah.
So leave him down there. That means you have to bring the defender down there, which is going to open up everything else.
Well, if that's the case, it goes back to what I said in August. If you want James Harden to be more of a facilitator, how much could that take away from his offensive input?
Well, you heard what Doc said. That's the second part of it.
Yeah.
Doc said we don't just need James Harden to be a facilitator. He said we need you to be a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
If you're feeling it and you can get it, go ahead and take your shot.
Yep.
So we need you to take your shot.
Mm-hmm.
If you're feeling it. And it's going to come to you. It eventually is going to come to you. Bro, that's exactly what I need to hear.
I love that he's empowering Harden.
Yes.
Like, hey, dude, you're a big boy here. Like, we need you bad. Make no mistake about this. Set the tone. Good. Exactly right. Put the ball in his court, so to speak, and do the same thing with Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I look, I'm not the biggest Doc Rivers fan, but I like that. I liked it a lot.
I agree 100% with you. I mean, obviously he wants more input from the players, and when you put it more so on the players have to respond.
Yes.
The coach gets a lot of the credit and a lot of the negativity for what happens and what doesn't happen. As a head coach, to put that out there and say, you know what, I want to hear from the players. I want to know what they think. I want to know what they want to do more so than anything else. Okay, that's basically telling the players, I expect more from you.
Mm-hmm.
I expect you to handle these situations. Now let's see if that translates to them being what we consider one of the upper echelon teams in the East. I hope so.
Harden is fascinating, isn't it? I mean, the whole Harden thing is, to me, is he on the did he take a couple steps backwards? Was he just not healthy last year? He's basically playing on a 1-year deal, so he sort of bet on himself a little bit. Did take less money, which allowed them to get PJ Tucker and some other pieces. There's a lot there with Harden this year, and there's a lot riding on this thing with Harden.
Playing on a 1-year deal, and how long will it be before he's playing on one leg?
That's the question. He claims he's as healthy as he's been. He's been able to do core stuff. He's been able to get stronger, and he lost, according to him, 100 pounds. We know that's not 100 pounds, but he lost a lot of weight.
Come on, man. 100 pounds? Come on. That dude would be anorexic.
He was saying it in jest. But,
I know.
But he does look, for whatever it's worth, he looks slimmer. I mean, he does look like he took it seriously in the offseason, at least conditioning.
And the shot is there from what I see.
Yep.
I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping those aren't
fool's gold.
Yeah, no. Yeah, or Ben Simmons gold.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Don't get riled up, man.
I mean,
shooting all them jumpers in the all season.
Speaking of, did you guys realize on Monday? Do you know where the Sixers are playing in the preseason on Monday?
Where?
At Brooklyn.
Mm?
Yes. They're playing Ben on Monday.
You think he plays?
Oh, snap.
I think he does play.
I wonder if a strong contingent of Philadelphia fans would go up there just to see that debut Ben.
Knowing Philadelphia fans, yes, they would.
If they find out he's actually playing on Monday, can you imagine the caravan up to Brooklyn just to boo him.
Bruh, they would, that train would be full.
Yeah, it would.
The
It
train
would look like an
be
Eagles
full.
game. You know,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then the train drops you right there. You'll be right there.
Oh yes.
Come on, man. Come on, man. This is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. There's no doubt about that. The way this thing plays out with him. But
can we just leave Ben alone? Let Ben get on with his life.
Ben
Can we
needs
just
to
leave
leave
him
himself
alone? Can we just all get along here, like Rodney King said? Can we
I
just
hear
all
you.
get along?
I do get along. I like to stir it up with Ben. He's so sensitive.
Yeah, he is.
Eddie Murphy, he's so sensitive.
Favorite Eddie Murphy movie?
Whoa.
I'll start. I'm going Coming to America, and there's a lot to choose from, but I got to go Coming to America.
I'm going Trading Places.
Okay.
Mine's The Golden Child.
I love that movie.
No, the knife.
Come on, man.
You're taking that over 48 hours and Trading Places and Coming to America.
I turn on these damn lights.
I'm Coming to America all day.
Beverly Hills, he was good in Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills Cop, he was great. Yeah.
But I love Trading Places. Him and Dan Aykroyd and Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Dude, those two movies were hilarious.
They were, man. And even the first, I forget how many they ended up doing. Beverly Hills Cop, the second one was really good too.
Yeah, they were.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But that
what did they
first
do?
one,
4 of them? How many did they do?
It was 3. Because Brigitte Nielsen was in one of them.
She might have been in 3.
But when he walked in that restaurant, tell Victor Maitland.
Yes. Yes. Bronson Pinchot's cameo in that is great.
Oh, dude.
You know, you're right. I gotta go Harlem Nights. There you go, Smoke.
Harlem Nights is strong too.
Harlem Nights is strong. Okay. But
dude, I'm
he
sorry, man.
Pinky toe off.
Yeah, that was great.
Come on, man.
That old
Come on,
gnarly-
man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, the thing coming to when I like the side characters and Coming to the barber.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
Mama call him Clay. I'm gonna call Clay. Mama name him Clay. I'm gonna call
Oh,
him
you
Clay.
you talking about what's his name? He had his own talk. Arsenio Hall.
Yeah, Arsenio Hall's great in it, and then
John Good. No, what's his name?
Sexual Chocolate, the band.
Yeah.
That boy good. That boy good. That boy good.
The James, the father. What's his name?
John Amos.
John Amos. Yeah.
McDowell's, not McDonald's.
Yeah, McDowell.
Yes.
They have the Golden Arch.
Yeah.
We have the golden. What was it? Golden.
I know.
We had the Golden Arch.
The uniforms are identical.
Oh yeah. McDowell's. Come on, man.
They had the what you got? You said we had.
Yeah,
the
they have
Arch.
the arches. We have the
Golden.
God.
What was it?
Somebody will
on the
remember.
stream got to know.
Yeah, somebody will remember that in the stream. But yeah, that was Eddie's body of work in the 80s and into the early 90s is ridiculous.
Eddie Murphy got rise to the scene when he did his stand-up comedy. The first one, Delirious. Dude, I ain't never laughed that hard. At that point, I never laughed that hard in my life. When he started talking about Aunt Bunny and Uncle Gus.
Yeah.
And
Raw is great too.
Dude, let me tell you something. He said, you know what? He said, I took the little children fishing and I took them in the boat. And the brother put his head in the water and he shook his head and he came up with a fish.
Oh my God.
Goody Google.
He looked he looked at his sister and said, Goody Google. I said, what the bleep is going on?
How about Raw when he relayed, like, this is when Cosby was all over him about cursing, and he called up Richard Pryor. Can't reveal the line. Tell Bill to have a Coke and a smile, and
Oh man!
Tell him Richard said that. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh,
He said, "Goody Google."
Why you come over here and you butt in my backyard? You're cooking a brontosaurus burger in the backyard. And then your wife falling down the stairs. Oh, Jesus, help me. What is going on?
Oh my God.
It's a Goody Google.
Angie.
Yeah.
Lillian.
Oh my God. That was boy. You're right, man.
Man, that dude. Oh my
Bro,
goodness.
I mean, he sometimes you don't think, can I have the knife?
Yeah.
Oh,
young Eddie, man.
please.
Young Eddie. Oof. All right,
man.
so Myles Garrett wants to play. I wouldn't let him play if I'm
I
Cleveland.
wouldn't let him play.
He's trying
Why
to
not?
force them to let him play.
Why can't he play?
Because the car accident?
Yeah, but if he's okay, I mean, his body.
I don't know, man. I just feel like that's a pretty big trauma the guy just went through, I guess.
Yeah, a bruised shoulder or something like that, and
Wrist,
I'm not letting
shoulder.
him out there. No, he's not getting out there now.
Right biceps.
Yeah, man. No. I'm sorry. Here, you see this bench right here? Sit your behind on the bench.
Yeah, they're
That's
going to
where
give
you-
him treatment over the next, today and tomorrow, and then they'll make a call. So, well, Dalvin Cook will play for.
They're trying to win.
Yeah, they're trying to win. They're trying to survive until Watson gets back. Dalvin Cook will play for the Vikings too in the London game.
Here's one for you to keep in mind. And I wrote this down. I'm like, you know what? It could be true. Saquon Barkley said, "This is the guy I know." Now, Saquon right now is number 2 in the league in rushing. He ripped off that 36-yard touchdown run against the Cowboys. He looked like the Saquon Barkley that won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's averaging 6 yards a carry right now behind a porous Giants offensive line.
Yep.
Is Saquon back?
I think he is. And I heard Boomer Esiason say this, and I thought it was really interesting. So Boomer, I forget where he was talking about moving him to. Now I'm drawing a blank. Said that he would trade him. I think maybe it was the Rams. Anyway, he said that he would trade him because if you're the Giants, you're not going to pay the money it would cost to re-sign him.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. And you're in rebuild mode, whether you want to admit it or not. Get as much ammunition as you can get if you want to try to get up to get one of these quarterbacks who's going to be coming in. I thought it was fun.
He's dead on.
He's dead on. Yeah, I agree.
Especially with that position. Yeah. So that's one to keep your eye on. He keeps playing well, and the Giants are just kind of middling or worse. He could end up getting moved. I forget what I'm trying to remember what team he was talking about. It was somebody in the AFC. Buffalo. It was Buffalo.
Okay.
He said he'd be a perfect fit in Buffalo. The only thing I worry about in Buffalo is would they be committed enough to give him the ball? I don't feel like they're all that committed to a running game.
Now, the way as diversified as their offense is, he would be a great complement piece, but a feature back in Buffalo is like a feature back with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Is it worth having a back like that?
Come on, man. But he comes from that Andy Reid tree.
Yeah.
So he's not going to do it, man.
Well, I think the other thing is like we're going to get to this point where there are just going to be certain teams that will never pay a running back.
Yep.
Like the Eagles aren't paying Miles Sanders a lot of money. Despite no matter what, however this year ends up, they're not going to pay him.
Nope.
So
no, heck no.
You're just going to have to kind of keep hitting. What that means is you're going to have to really recognize running back talent and nail it, in the 3rd or 4th round. That's really what it's going to come down to. Just to kind of keep the wheel spinning at that position.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because as much as I really like Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell, but they're not feature guys.
Nope.
They're compliments. So
I agree 100%.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what
They
happens.
They had a problem with signing both Deuce and Westbrook.
This was back in the day when the running back was even more valued then too.
Exactly. They had a problem with signing both of those guys.
Yeah, no, you're right. You are right. All right, let's get a timeout. We'll come back. We'll dive into a little bit more baseball stuff. Interesting question. What's the matter?
I'm just still thinking about Eddie Murphy, delirious.
All right, we'll come back. We got an interesting question about Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. A couple on this dates, a couple birthdays, and Eagles predictions as we roll out the door. Don't go anywhere. D Gunn, B Brooks, R Ellis, Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network.
greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
The faces you know, the team you trust. The Delaware Valley's leading news program, Action News.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
Final segment. Thanks for hanging out with us. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis, Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, so guys, last night, Shohei Ohtani had a no-hitter into the eighth. Okay. On top of that, he's got a 14-game hit streak. So as a pitcher, he's 5-8 with a 2.35 or 15-8. 15-8. Big distinction. 15-8 with a 2.35 ERA, 21 strikeouts. As a hitter, 34 home runs, 94 runs driven in. We have focused on Aaron Judge as we should have. This dude is a unicorn. We in our lifetime, we haven't seen someone be able to do what he does. Not since the Babe Ruth-ish kind of stuff here.
Right.
This is unbelievable what he's doing.
I don't think we'll ever see another player like this in our lifetime. I mean, his prowess at the plate. 15 victories, tied for third most in the American League. 213 strikeouts, third. 2.35 ERA, fourth. At the plate, he's fourth in the league. 34 homers and sixth in RBIs with 94. Are you kidding me? When have you ever seen a dual threat like that in baseball? We haven't.
I haven't.
Never seen that. And I watched this game a long time.
They don't train kids to do that anymore.
No.
I mean, how did he do that? Once you get to high school, they start specializing you. Oh, you can't pitch anymore. You're a hitter. Or you're a hitter now, you can't pitch anymore. I mean, he's a freak, man, a freak.
I don't know how he's doing it, and he's so and so is Trout being wasted on a bad team, and they're just afterthoughts. It's amazing, when you look at any other year. I mean, if Aaron Judge doesn't have 61 and is flirting with the Triple Crown, he wins MVP again. He won it last year. He would have been back-to-back in a landslide.
Yep.
Is the distance between the two? I mean, we all agree Aaron Judge should be at the top for what he's accomplished home run wise with the record and all. But is it clear cut that he's the MVP this year, the American League MVP? Do we have to consider Ohtani for what he's done?
I think you definitely have to consider Ohtani. I think you definitely have to consider him. But when you look at, Judge's numbers across the board, Derek, he's hitting 313. He's driven in 130. He's got 61 RBIs. He's got a 696 slugging percentage, a 1.21 OPS. His WAR is 10.4. And I know people don't like hearing all the WAR stuff, but his that's a sick year.
It is, but we just said it. We have never seen a player who's as dominant as both a pitcher and as a hitter as we've seen with Ohtani. That's a special trait in itself.
Yeah.
Now, his numbers may not be as impressive home run wise as Aaron Judge, but his overall performance has to be seriously considered.
Yeah.
The man's got 15 wins on the mound.
Yeah.
He's in the top 4 in just about every category you can think of in the American League as a pitcher.
Yeah.
He's in the top 4 or 5 in every category you can just about think of as a hitter.
Mm-hmm.
That's unheard of.
No,
to me, that's a more valuable player.
No question.
Than Aaron Judge.
He affects the defensive side of the ball, offensive
and offensive.
The argument is Judge's team's in the playoffs and they're going nowhere. It's not Otani's fault.
No,
right.
Okay,
right,
it's not
right.
his. The guy's done everything he could possibly do to prop that team up. But I'm just saying, the counter is Judge is doing it in more critical games. I think there's definitely an argument to be made. And Otani himself, it was fascinating. He did it through a translator, but he said last night, hey, I leave it up to you guys, as far as how that stuff goes, is what Otani said. He said, but I'm having a better year this year than I had last year.
It's
and
true.
I won the MVP last year.
It's true.
And he did it in a real sort of understated way, whatever, but he's not wrong. His numbers are better this year than they were last year.
And he also said the reason he felt he lost the no-hit bid last night was because he didn't like the way his fastball was moving, so he went to more breaking pitches in the latter inning, and it cost him.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
you could just do that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, much command. You have that much command. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's how talented that guy is.
This dude is something.
Something's
else,
not there.
man.
He just goes to the next thing and he dominates.
How many pitchers can say they can do that?
And he can run. Like this guy, man, he is. I don't know if he's an American or something like that. Maybe there's more love. I don't know. And again, he won the MVP last year. In fairness, I'm not saying it's like a racial thing. I'm just saying there's a language barrier. There's other things maybe going on.
That's who he's playing for, man.
Yeah,
it is.
If he was playing for the Yankees, he'd be right there.
Forget it if he's playing.
If he was on the plane, if he was on the same team as Judge and him, he would win it.
Yeah,
no
I think if he was playing for a more prominent team, even though the Red Sox are losing, if he was playing for the Red Sox, he would probably be more considered because of the dominance of the East Coast media over the West Coast.
Could be. Yeah, it could be. So anyway, I just thought this dude deserves some love, man. Like it needs to be pointed out what's going on here and how unique this is with what he's been able to do for sure. All right, so a couple of on this dates. Let's start with this one. 1967, the Spectrum opens. Yes, it was called America's Showplace.
Wow.
Back then. Wow.
It opened up for concerts, and then of course the Flyers played there, the Sixers played there eventually, and we know the history there. It was a state of the art at the time. It was one of those multi-purpose indoor arenas.
And you think about how antiquated it was. The hallways below were narrow. You go to all these stadiums now, man, you can drive an 18-wheeler under some of these stadiums now.
You're right.
You have to
the
be
hallway
able to now.
Yeah.
The hallways were narrow, and you're thinking, and the first time I've ever been there was in the early 80s when I covered the Bucks playing the Sixers, and it came down to Game 7.
Yeah.
That was the first time, and I was like, wow, I'm at the Spectrum, because you'd heard so much about it. And now, when you got to the 2000s with all these new stadiums popping up, you're talking about, man, they need a new venue quick.
Yeah. Oh, it got old really fast. It really aged, quickly. It did for sure. I was lucky when I was a kid. The Flyers and the Sixers were always good, like every year. So we would go there, and every game would be nuts. It would be loud. It would be, it would be packed. It was a fun place to watch because it held the noise.
When they tear that down?
Oh my goodness!
Down. It wasn't.
In
it was
2000.
Yeah, because I remember I got here in '95 and I could see it across the street.
Mm-hmm.
I never went to anything in it though, but
good place to see a concert too. It was a good place for a concert.
Yeah, I remember co-hosting a show with Michael Barkan for NBC Sports at 6 a.m. We started the show 6:30, something crazy like that.
Oh, right up your alley.
Really. And we did it from up at the upper level. So we had the Spectrum in our background. We were waiting for them to blow it up.
Yeah.
So it was, I can't remember, it was 2000 something. I can't remember. But look at the history. Look at the great events, the great entertainers from the music industry, the world of sports that played. Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus was huge there every year.
Right.
The Flyers. The Flyers in their most glorious moments, playing in that. It was unbelievable. But then, like when I got here in 97, even in 97 when I got here, I'm thinking, man, this is too, I felt claustrophobic in a lot of ways walking down in the tunnel of that place, man.
I'll give you one other one. Like when I was little, times were a little different then. So we would walk in, like my dad, I was little, like my dad would take me to go to the bathroom or something like that. And all you could smell was weed. That's all you could smell. And I'd be like, what, Dad, what's this? Like, it smells like skunk. And he'd be like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe somebody hit a skunk on their way here.
Dad be like, just shut up.
Just pee your hands and let's go. I'm telling you, man. Like every time I'd be like,
Rob, that's why I
how
love
did all
Rob.
these people hit skunks when they drove to the game? Like, you know, I'm telling you, it was every time.
I love Rob, man. See?
And all I want to do is like, I want to get back out and see Dr. J. What's that smell? You know. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Man, I feel funny.
Why am I laughing so much?
Rob, why are you laughing so much, son?
Dad, I got the munchies. Can I get the double hot dog and the nachos?
Yeah. Boy, that ice cream made me laugh a lot. All right, so that was one. The other one is on this date in 1982, the show Cheers debuted.
That's huge. That's
Had a
major.
great run, more than a decade run on NBC. Cheers did.
That was one of those shows also, Rob, that didn't catch on right away, but all of a sudden, by the second or third season, it became a home favorite, man.
Yep.
I didn't start watching that show until Cheers. People were talking about this Cheers. What? But I couldn't stop watching it once I did.
Eric, you're right. If that show had debuted now, it would have never got past year one.
No.
The numbers were low, and there was like 2 or 3 big-time network executives that put their reputation on the line, and it paid off.
Yeah.
It did not do well. You're exactly right. They were
It's
going to
Norm.
Yeah.
It's a lot like Seinfeld. You know, Seinfeld
Very
didn't
much.
catch on in a lot of ways. You know, a show about nothing. People couldn't grasp that initially. Became one of the most iconic sitcoms in the history of American television.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. All right, so the other one was on this date in 2007. The Phillies clinched their the NFC East or NL East, excuse me, for the first time. First time they were in the playoffs since 1993. So
Seems
that's
so far away.
I know it started the run. That started that whole run.
Dude, that was 15 years ago.
I know, man.
15 years ago.
That's hard. That is hard to fathom. It really is.
Wow.
It goes so fast as you get older, doesn't it?
I'm telling you, my dad always said the older you get, the quicker time goes by, and it's so true. You know, I'm telling you, man. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? You know, my wife will recall something my kids did when they're little, and I have to really stop and think about it for a moment because, you know, all my kids are in their 30s now, and it's like, man, where did the time go?
I know. Yeah,
now I got to deal with YouTube. Before, you know, now that I'm over the hill, but now down in the valley, while I'm over the hill, I got to deal with YouTube now.
Yeah, and we're like 4-year-olds, you know, from a mental standpoint.
I'm the most mature one in the group.
Yeah, you are. That's sad. Boy, that's saying something, isn't it? Oh my God, that's an indictment. All right, so birthdays, weird list. Okay, I'll just forewarn you, it's a weird list. Barry Williams. Who's Barry Williams?
I don't know who the hell Barry. Who is Barry Williams?
Greg Brady.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Greg Brady's 68 years old. I'm not even kidding you, man. You want to feel old? Yeah, 68.
Hey, back in the day, man, you know, once the stories came out, him and Marcia Brady were more than just TV brother and sister.
It was a good get by him back in the day.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. One of my favorites, dog, and you know, you guys won't know about this one. Max Verstappen turns 24 today.
He's a Formula One guy, right?
Yes, F1, Formula One. In fact, there is somebody on the stream noticed that there is F1 racing this weekend. I think they're in like Singapore or some crazy like that. Yeah.
We know what you and Xander will be doing this weekend.
Yeah, Xander, where they at, Xander? Xander's all pissed off right now because we've been laughing too much. This has been a fun show, bro.
Is it?
Xander mad? No, he's not mad. I'm just messing with him.
All right. Eric Stoltz, the actor, is 61 years old. Did you know he was the original Marty McFly in Back to the Future?
Oh, yeah.
Who?
He got fired after a couple of weeks of filming, and they begged Michael J. They wanted Michael J. Fox initially. Family Ties, the TV show he was doing, wouldn't let him out of the deal. they came back to the producers and said, what if we shoot around your schedule? And he only shoots Back to the Future at night. And they agreed to it. That's how they got him to do it. But
well, you know, he was also in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He was Stoner Bob.
Remember? He was one of Spicoli's boys.
All our waters.
Who was this you're talking about?
Waves and cool buds.
Yes. Yeah.
Who? What's his name?
Eric Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz.
He's also in Pulp Fiction. He's the drug dealer.
Yep.
They stick the adrenaline needle into Uma Thurman's chest. He's the long red-haired drug dealer. He's in a lot of stuff, that guy.
Yep.
He was in tons of 80s movies. He's been around a long time. Who else? T-Pain is 37 years old.
Oh, yeah.
She bought us drinks.
38. He's 38.
We drunk him. Got drunk.
Yeah. Kieran Culkin, who's Macaulay's brother, is 40. Jenna Elfman, the actress, is 51. She was in Dharma and Greg. Martina Hingis, the former tennis player, is 42 years old.
Did you know she was the first Swiss tennis player, male or female, to win a major title and hold the #1 ranking?
I didn't know that.
Yep. See, I'm telling you, Rob, I'm here to fill in the blanks, man.
You're unbelievable, man.
I told you, dude.
It's incredible. Lacey Charbet, I think that's how you pronounce it. She was in Party of Five, is 40 years old. She does Lifetime movies.
Yeah. She also played Erica Kane's daughter in All My Children back in the day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, Derek.
Oh, yeah.
Monica Bellucci, Italian actress, is 58 years old.
I love her.
She's good in everything. Yeah.
What was her big movie? Oh, one of my all-time favorite Bruce Willis movies. I've told you guys this a number of times. If you've never seen the movie Tears of the Sun, you need to watch that movie. It is a great movie with her. She's the doctor in that movie that Bruce Willis and the Navy SEALs have to go into this African village to rescue.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you anymore, but that movie came out in 2003. It's still, if that movie's on, I will sit there and watch that movie. I love that movie.
Saw that.
Tears of the Sun.
Yes.
I saw that. Yeah, there's little kids. They had to go save the little kids and stuff.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah,
it was good. It
was.
You know, I generally like. There's a few actors I'll kind of watch almost anything that they do.
Yeah.
I like Bruce Willis. I've always been a big fan of his work, and it's a shame he's got health issues and he's not going to be probably acting anymore. That's too bad because I always thought he gave everything he had to in these movies.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
You never felt like that dude was mailing it in.
No.
You know, under any circumstance. All right. So happy birthday, Landon Dickerson. I saw.
Okay.
One of our friends on the stream pointed that out as well. Today he's 24 years old. That was who pointed that out? Somebody did earlier. Anyway, so yeah, thank you to whoever pointed that out. Oh, Richie Mack, MC. Yeah,
all right.
That one. So that's it. What do you got for birthdays, Gunner? You got any?
Oh man, you missed a lot of them, dude. Okay. How about Fran Drescher from The Nanny?
Yep.
She's 65 today. She was also in Saturday Night Fever, which I didn't remember. She was in Dr. Detroit also with Dan Aykroyd.
She must have been young.
I'm telling you, man. She made her acting debut in 1977 in a small role of Saturday Night Fever.
Okay.
Yep, she sure did. Angie Dickerson is 91 years old. Remember
She's
her
still
from
alive?
yes.
I'm not. I didn't mean it like that.
Damn, Rob. Damn.
I didn't mean it like that. I really didn't mean that. That wasn't like. Jeez. There we go.
Yeah, she's 91 years old. Remember the old series Policewoman?
Yes.
Sergeant Pepper Anderson, and she was in Dressed to Kill.
She was strong back in the hair.
That was a long time ago.
Nice cover, Rob.
She's 91. Yeah,
91.
91 years old.
Johnny Mathis, 87 years old.
Oh, wow.
Do you know he claims he was a big golfer and he's still hosting a number of like charity golf events. He claims he has 9 hole-in-ones in his career.
Dang.
Get out of here.
I'm
9 hole-in-ones?
9 hole-in-ones in his golfing career. Yep. That's what he said.
That's a lot, man.
Yep. And you also have Adam Pac-Man Jones, 39s of that. I can't believe he's out of the league. I know he's 39, played 12 years. But Adam Pac-Man Jones, little dude, 5'8", but man, he was tenacious when he played.
Great kick returner also.
Yes, absolutely.
That's good.
That's it. That's all I got, dude.
All right, let's look at Eagles here, and let me see if I'll pull an updated line for you here. Let me just make sure I have it up to date. on what the Eagles are. All right, so the Eagles enter this game as it doesn't move much. 6.5 point favorites. The over-under is 45.5. The over-under to me is dicey because you don't know what the weather conditions are going to be, so you got to be careful with that. But what are we thinking in this game, Barrett? I'll start with you. Not just score, but give me a little analysis. If you want to throw a prediction in there, what you think may happen.
Yeah, I just think this is going to be a game in which they're going to have to play all 4 quarters. It's going to be evident, once they weather the first initial storm of everybody being on Doug's tip and, loving Doug and his team fighting for Doug, they eventually come to reality, and the Eagles kind of take over the game after that. And then it's going to be hard for them to keep up. They're gonna stick around a little bit, but I don't think the Eagles will have a problem scoring when they want to score.
Okay. And
they beat them. It won't be convincingly, like it'll only be by they'll definitely beat the line, but it'll probably be. Well, my prediction is that I'm writing in my write-up is 28-21. Birds.
Okay.
Cover the spread.
And that's a cover.
6.5, right?
That's a cover. Yeah.
6.5. Yep. They cover the spread.
Yeah, but you, Derek.
I think these kids are too young to know they're supposed to respect their elders when they come to Philadelphia. I think they've built up momentum. They have the perfect coach to get them fired up for this game. Whatever Doug has told them in the locker room, they believe in whatever he's saying now. Winning makes you believe in a lot of things. When you've had a history of being a losing entity and you went through the embarrassment this organization went through last year, you're wondering what's next. Even though you got a Hall of Fame coach coming in, you're still looking at him side-eyed because you don't know much about him as a person. You're not with him every day. And all of a sudden, now this team's being talked about across the league. They're playing great on both sides of the football. The money they have spent in free agency is well spent. They've had great drafts in recent years. I say the Eagles win this game. It's going to be more like 27-20.
27-20. That's a cover too.
That's a cover. Yep.
Okay. That's interesting. I'm going to say it's a little closer. I think the Eagles do win. But I think it's more in the range of like a 4-point win, something like that.
Okay.
My sense is this is going to be a game where they're going to have to do something in the second half. And I think that in the end, they're going to do enough to win the game. I think it's a big Goddard game. And Barrett, you got that thought in my head when you were talking about what the Eagles may do with as aggressive as the Jags are, coming from the outside with screens and whatnot. I think you can see some tight end screens, and I think it could be a good big game for Goddard.
I'm about to say you must have watched my show.
I pay attention to you.
Well, Birds Huddle, that's what I said. He's my player. Yep.
Yeah.
That's going to be my player right now to go out and have a great game. This is a Goddard type of game. They're going to do everything they can to stop on the outside Smitty and Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to, and they're going to try to stop the run also. And that just leaves little old Dallas Goddard roaming around the middle of that defense all by his lonesome.
Yeah, I just think it's like a 28-24 kind of Eagle win. This is unlike the last couple of weeks where, it was, let's face it, the last 2 weeks, you didn't really feel like the other team was threatening.
It's a street fight. It's going to be a street fight.
This one's going to be a battle. I truly believe this. I wanted to show you guys this real quick before we get out of here. All the Batman talk?
There he is. There's sexy Batman.
Sexy Batman.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah, Chris Long retweeted this. So there's Swole Batman, which is AJ Brown. There's Skinny Batman, which is Devontae Smith. And then Kelsey this week said, "I want to be Fat Batman." And then Slay said, "No, you're Sexy Batman." So now here's Sexy Batman doing his thing. That's an awesome picture.
I love that, dude. That is awesome.
I think we know if the Eagles win a Super Bowl, what costume that Kelsey's got to wear, right?
That would be amazing too,
right?
That would be amazing.
Cool.
Hey, that's just in David Montgomery out for the Bears, so that's not good for Bears. They already have no firepower as it is.
Right, he's the best thing they had going.
Yeah, they were able to run the ball. That's one of the reasons why. Thanks, Xander. Appreciate it. That's one of the reasons why Fields hasn't been throwing as much is because they actually do have a pretty good running attack.
Yeah, they do. Hey, Xander said he's been cracking up for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, this has been one of our typical Fridays.
I told him we all need mental help, mental evaluation.
Oh my God, with our goofiness.
And I'm first on that list. So
yes,
Barrett Brooks a D-gun. Can't stay off the juice. I mean that what's
Michael
that
Lombardi.
juice.
He was so good. I mean, he got everybody. Juice. Yeah, you can't stay off the juice.
Rob Ellis.
Yeah, Rob Ellis can't eat his Cheerios with milk.
Rob Ellis can stay off the skunk.
Yeah. I swear, my dad was just like, yeah, it is crazy how
Rob Ellis had the nerve to do the gritty in front of people.
Yeah, right. It's true. It's true. All right, so this weekend, Derek, you have the pre and post, pre and post.
Yep. Also, hey people, don't forget, Gun on One is out, the latest edition, with our friend Adam Kaplan. Great insight on Doug Peterson, the Jaguars team, Carson Wentz, where the Eagles are right now. We had a great 33-minute conversation. So everybody, if you can, download it or watch it on our JAKIB Sports Media YouTube channel. It's been up since Tuesday night. So I appreciate all the followers, man. It keeps growing each and every week, and that's all I can ask.
Love it, man. And I want to give a shout out to everybody. So every Thursday, I do an appearance at Screwballs in King of Prussia.
Yeah, with
Krause and Coach Henry and the crew. And you guys were kind enough to hop on last couple of weeks. We had Seth on last night. But it's an awesome time. So if you want to stop out, if you're in the area or at King of Prussia, every Thursday we're there basically from 6 to 8. It's already a great crowd, and the food's ridiculous. You were right.
Pizza.
Gunner gave me the scouting report. The food's great. So yeah, if you want to hang out, and I just thanks to everybody who's been coming out. Barrett, you want to plug anything?
And the stateside is flowing out.
Oh, it legitimately is, like legit. The iced tea
vodka is flowing,
and the iced tea is the stateside iced tea is hitting hard.
Rob can't remember how to get home after that show.
No. So Barrett, you got Birds Huddle tonight?
Yeah,
is
I
that
got
how
Birds.
we're rolling?
No Birds Huddle tonight. I won't be on tonight, but my boy Dave's on here. Will be on tonight.
Okay.
I got my.
Wait, Dave's hosting the show?
No, he's gonna be on the show.
He's part of the panel.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
My
Good,
show, man. It's my show, bro.
Oh, excuse me.
How dare?
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I was doing yesterday? I was talking about the time when Ice screwed me over.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
we don't need to go into those.
I saw that.
Real names. We'll just leave it at that.
We changed the name to protect the almost dead because he almost died that day.
Bill.
He almost got his life erased.
All I can hear in my headphones is Derek laughing the whole time. I'm hot. I'm mad. I'm just hot.
Yeah,
we got to go, or Xander's going to cut me off.
No, man. We can't leave.
Thanks to Xander. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Everybody listening, everybody streaming. We're back at it on Monday at noon. For Derek, for Barrett, I'm Rob. Thanks for hanging with us. We are Sports Take. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thank you.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pond Lehocky, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.